cuts back, shoots at goal, it's rolling, it's there! Tremendous effort from Subic.
To full forward, Dorothy, I want to be a rocker star! Yes!
One out contest, Hogg from behind, what a mark!
Merritt!
Yes! McAdam, don't tell me McAdam's kicked this. He's given it a barrel, he's given it a big one, it's a ride, it's a goal! A beautiful kick!
That is the mark of the year.
It's the name of the game.
A full forward battle that promises much and a game that promises much. It's Roger Merritt up against Tony Modra this afternoon. It's the Brisbane Bears at home to the Adelaide Crows. Of course, the Bears coming off the bye. Their record up here at the Gabba has been quite outstanding. Just the one loss in 4 games, and that by a solitary point against Geelong. We saw that game, and it was terrific. Adelaide arrived with a record of 4-4, but bear in mind, they won their first 3 games. So their record in the past few weeks has been a tad patchy, but the record overall certainly favours the Adelaide Crows against the Brisbane Bears. 3-0, as you can see. But then again, we've got to say, Gerard Healy, that records are made to be broken. What about these two sides?
Well, I think it's going to be a tough contract for the Crows to win this one, Dennis. The Bears are pumped up. They've got plenty of youth in their side, and these home ground conditions for the Bears up at the Gather, I think they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Richard Champion is out of the team as far as the Bears are concerned. How will that affect them?
Well, I think Dion Scott will possibly go in and replace him at centre-half forward, as we have up on the screen there. Ashley Green is also another one to back him up. Roger Merritt and Michael Murphy have kicked 54 goals between them this season, but it's the youth of the Bears that has sparked them. Chapman, Buckley, Voss, Kennedy and co, the list goes on.
And a very important game, this one, for the Adelaide Crows. Obviously, their form in the last month has not been what Graham Corns in the city of Adelaide would like.
Now, if they're to make the 6, this is a must-win for them. Groom out of the selected side. In come Hodges, who kicked 7 in a state game last week. Patterson and Mark Viska from Glenelg in for his first game. They're in from a 5-man bench named Brown and Sanderson have missed. But the man of the moment, of course, is Modra. He's kicked 52 goals this season, and Nathan Chapman is his likely opponent.
And speaking of teams, our team today is Sandy Roberts, Bill McDonald and Maxie Stevens, and we'll be back with all of the action right after this.
It's the name of the game.
We're back at the Gabba. Nice day, bit of cloud about. Big crowd is building and the Brisbane Bears run onto the Gabba. And so far, every time they've done this, they've been most competitive, of course, coming off that annihilation of the Sydney Swans on this ground before they took the bye. Roger Merritt having a wonderful season. We touched on him before, how he goes this afternoon. By comparison with Tony Modra, could be a telling factor in this game. A terrific atmosphere. But just for the moment, while we're looking ahead, time to step back in time for the man and the year.
McDonald's presents The Man and the Year.
1982, and the eyes of the sporting world turned to Brisbane for the Commonwealth Games. A loaf of bread cost only 82 cents. The entertainment world mourns the loss of Hollywood greats Henry Fonda and Marty Feldman, and Gurners Lane completes the Melbourne Caulfield Cup double. It was also the year Carlton won back-to-back premierships, defeating Richmond in the grand final. A year Blues premiership hero Wayne Johnston will never forget.
Richmond were pretty hot favourites. They'd beaten us conclusively in that finals match we played them in the I think it was the qualifying final. They were a very pumped-up team for finals football, Richmond. But I suppose to cut a long story short, we actually went out with plenty of vim and vigour, and we hit the packs early, attacked early, had 2 or 3 goals on the board before you could almost blink. I think if you're in the queue for a pie or something, you're in trouble.
It was the third of 4 premierships for the Dominator, the first coming in 79, the last in 87 against Hawthorn. But 82 had everything.
We had rain, hail and shine. We had a streaker, which I suppose I was eminently responsible for removing from the ground. You know, we were in front early, then they fought back, and they were in front, and we fought back in the third quarter and held sway for the rest of the day. To play on players like Rioli and Rains on that day was particularly good because they're good friends of mine, and you know, it was just a great contest.
A fearless centreman come half forward, Johnston starred against the Tigers with 21 kicks and 2 goals. Many said he was unlucky not to win a Norm Smith medal for best on ground. Handed the captaincy in 84 and 85, Johnston played 209 games for the Blues before retiring in 1990, ending a golden era.
You know, the Sheldons, Buckleys, Harmses, Marcus, McConvilles, etc. They just go on. Not to mention the really high-class players of those times, the Dools, Mackays, Southbys, Bostons, etc. I mean, not often you can mention those names in, just like that off the top of your head, all in one side, all in one era. We were very fortunate.
Johnston started a coaching career at Sebastopol in Ballarat before gathering his clan of 5 and moving to Queensland, where he is now coach of QAFL improvers Kedron Grange. One of the great VFL players, watch out, his next aim is to become one of the AFL's great coaches.
The name of the game is Australia.
It's the final game of round 10, the only game being played today. Bill McDonald is down on the boundary. Brisbane Bears against the Adelaide Crows. Bill, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dennis. Another magnificent sunny afternoon up here at the Gabba in Queensland, and it's quite warm actually. Not much breeze to cool it down this afternoon. It's only gusting up to about 10 kilometres an hour, and it's going across the ground. It's a 2-goal advantage, we think, to that scoring end, which is the goal, the scoreboard end. The ground is in excellent condition. It's a nice fine day up here. There's a few clouds around, but most of them have gone for the moment. Expected maximum 22. We've reached that at the moment. Humidity quite manageable at 60%.
The Mitsubishi Motors ground report, and Max Stevens now joins Bill down there. How about some selections, fellas?
Well, I'm going to go for the...
barely hear you, Dennis. Big crowd here. I tell you, I have to go for Adelaide. Great ground. This is a very big ground, and I think it'll suit the Crows.
Well, you're a big fan of the crowd here too, Max, I might say. I'm going to go for the Brisbane Bears today. They play really well here at the Gabba, and I just can't see the Crows getting over them this afternoon. Sorry, mate.
Read the script, Max. Okay, who's going which way? They just had the toss of the coin, and the Bears will be going left to right here at the Gabba. And another very good crowd. They've got to be happy with this move. Everything seems to be working out particularly well for the Bears, not only on the football field, but the support off the ground, the atmosphere they get. Everything is terrific. Look at that. The Sir Leslie Wilson stand away to our right, and that grandstand behind the goals down there. It's packed. What about a selection across the commentary desk? Gerard?
Well, I'm going for the Brisbane Football Club, Dennis, because of their outstanding record here.
Sandy?
Yes, Dennis, I've seen the Bears. This will be the third time at this ground, and they performed admirably. I know the Crows have got to come back, but I'll stick with the home side in a close one.
Well, I thought the Crows would make the top 3, so I feel I must stay with them this afternoon. This is the sort of game they've got to win. Sheehan and Viney, the umpires, set to go. Noonan has the tagging job on McDermott. Rucks go at it. Over the top, Kennedy having a wonderful season, won it down, but straight to Anderson, who boots it inside the attacking 50 for the Crows. Voss couldn't control it. Modra back to goal, feeds it out to Smart, who appears to be on the forward line. Liptak goes back, almost the mark, bounces off his chest, close to the goal line. Well, eventually, by committee, they decided to push it across for a behind.
Yes, Nigel Smart lining up a centre-half forward for the Crows. Usually plays in defence, so obviously we can expect the unexpected from Corns today.
Fletcher is on half-back. He's been in good form. Off to McLean. The defence has been working well, the Bears. McLean's kick up towards half-forward. Over the head of White it goes, but he recovers. Still across that half-forward line. Pushed back towards White now. He's a talented player, but he's caught. The ball spills free. No one able to pick it up. Eventually, the Crows will come away. The advantage is paid. McDermott runs in and out of trouble. Eventually gets the hand pass away. Buckley is at the bottom of the pack. He gets it out, but straight to Anderson. Greg Anderson's second kick for the game. Up towards half-forward. McLean chops it off. Mick McLean back towards centre half-forward once again. Visca is there for the Crows, but so too is Scotty Lee. And it's Lee who takes the mark across half-back. Good luck to Mark Visca. Playing his first game, but that's a poor kick from Lee, straight to Dion Scott. And Scott will have a shot directly in front, but he's going to be kicking from 60 metres. Slight breeze favouring the end, and it normally does favour the scoreboard end here at the Gabba. But the Bears pulling a good crowd, and it's great to see for football. The drop punt's on its way. It's a good-looking kick. He snuck it home for the first of the day. Scott gets his first and the Bears first, and they lead by 5 points.
Yes, a great start to Dion Scott, a player recruited from the Sydney Swans, who had a big history of injury there, had a reconstructed knee, and in fact broke his neck in the surf at Bondi Beach. But he's come back, has been an excellent player for the Brisbane Football Club.
That was a thumping kick. And the Bears lead it by 5 points. Two players of great promise. Face to face here, Kennedy and Wren. One by the latter, taken away by Craven, down towards half forward. Visca and/or Maynard. Well, they didn't do too well there. White flicks it out. Now an opportunity. Francis, long kick. It floats right and goes through for a behind. So Dion and Fabian both on the forward line. Takes you back, Sandy, eh? 60s?
Huge they were, and I just wonder when they're going to tour.
Paul Pios looking into the glare of the sun. Scott Lee waiting for the ball to come back. There's Roger Merritt.
Interesting half-forward line for the Crows. We have Nigel Smart. He's been picked up by McLean, centre half forward. He'll be interchanging, I guess, at centre half forward with Robin, who's on the flank at the moment, being picked up by Leslie. And John Gastev has Jarman, who's been placed on a half forward flank.
Pushing the back from the lead kick in. Not much doubt about that. So Dion Scott has the ball again, about 60 metres from goal. Let's see what he can do this time. His last kick was just outside the 50, but cleared the fence. He goes again, not as good this time. They'll contest right in the square. Big pack at the fall of the ball. Wren had it, then lost it. Lee heads for the goal line, and it's forced across, but an element of danger in that. He got the angle back to between the posts. The goal post, that was. May have been better advised to head across the goal line between the goal and behind post.
So Lee will again bring it back into play. After a sensational start to the year, the Crows have faltered a little. They'll be desperately keen to get back on track this afternoon. From the throw-in, could be a high tackle. And again, the Bears have the opportunity of going deep into their forward zone. Craven, one of the smallest players on the ground. Centering kick towards half forward. No one able to take it. Anderson applies a good tackle. The ball spills free. Hart almost was holding on. Ashcroft at the bottom of the pack tries to rip the football away, but he's taken the ground. He's at the bottom there somewhere.
Speaking of Danny Craven, he has the responsibility of keeping Tony McGuinness in check, one of the hardest jobs in football. And good to see Walls paying McDermott the respect he deserves, with Danny Noonan following him.
Ball up once again. White flicks it wide. The umpire goes to ground. Craven picks it up. He's caught. Gang tackle, but he escapes somehow. Gets a kick, but he slams it right into the behind post and out of bounds on the full. So a busy start for Danny Craven. One of the game's nomads. But good to see him settling down into this Bears outfit. McDermott brings it back into play. Heads towards the boundary line. Anderson, Kennedy both fly. Bears have the numbers. Ashcroft takes the hand pass from Fletcher. Fletcher may have to go in and get it again from Anderson, who pushes it up towards centre wing. Close to the boundary line it goes. And eventually, well, it's going to be kept in by Jarman, but his hand pass goes astray. Fletcher, now Gastev. Fletcher could have almost copped one then. Kennedy, McLean. Oh, the Bears looking good as they go through the centre. McLean's long penetrating kick up towards Merritt. He's there. Waiting down is Clark. Picked it up on the half volley. Magnificent pickup, but he couldn't cap it off with a goal. One behind only.
Great passage of play by the Brisbane Bears, showing some good signs early in the piece. Clark, terrific piece of roving at the feet of Roger Merritt. That's where he'll have to be all game. Should have converted, however.
Hard in short to Visca. The game being dominated at the present time by the Brisbane Bears. Although, as I say that, Bickley shovels a hand pass away to Anderson, who's been active. Probing kick inside the 50. Modra up in front, fisted away by Chapman. Liptak is outnumbered 3-1. No support. Hart got him. Dragged him down. Advantage is paid. Leslie to Chapman, who swings it around the outer side. Not a good kick. It bounces out of bounds and will be thrown in. Right on the wing. Dion Scott playing strongly early. Sean Wren. Kennedy doing the ruck work. Hooked behind. Clark had it, then lost it. Tregenza's hand pass goes about 15 metres. Sliding in there, McGuinness brilliantly done. The hand pass not effective. Taken by Noonan, dragged to the ground. Now Tregenza, and he can't keep it in. So it's 1-3 to a behind.
It's interesting, Dennis, to note the effect that the move to Brisbane has had on the Brisbane Bears. After 4 home games last year, they had a crowd aggregate of just under 22,000. So far this year, just over 44,000.
You never stop.
Throw in on the outer side. With the Bears, 1 goal coming from Dion Scott on a long kick. The Crows still looking for their first. They've got Hodges down in the forward line. They've got Smart, and they've also got Modra down towards half forward. Oh, clean bowled was Leslie. He's got backup support, however, through Hart, who goes across to Clark. Clark's kick goes to the half back line. They've got the numbers. Kennedy does well for a big man. He shows great versatility. A high kick in towards the centre. Big pack of players. Wren trying to do the work from behind, almost succeeded. Kicked up towards half forward by Lee. Through the arms of Robrin it went. Ball comes to ground. Gastev decides to leave it for his teammate, and they stack him up to see a bounce take place some 35 metres out from the Crows scoring zone. They have just the one behind on the board at the moment. Johnny Gastev is the club best and fairest on 2 occasions to date, in 89 and 92. Kennedy looking to win the tap out. No one able to get it clear. And eventually the umpire comes in. Umpires Brian Sheehan and Michael Viney are in charge of proceedings today. This will be Michael Viney to effect the bounce. Still in the Crows attacking zone. Nigel Smart does the ruck work and in fact wins it. Oh, Tregenza had a chance. Second attempt, he picked it up, get a short kick. Hodges will have a shot now, 35 metres out. He's the forgotten forward of the Adelaide Crows after we've been blessed with Modra magic in recent weeks.
Well, he did come back to form in a state game during the last week, kicking 7 goals against Western Australia. Not state of origin, of course, but good for his confidence.
Hodges looking for the Crows first. He makes no mistake. That'll help Scott Hodges as the Adelaide Crows trail by 2 points.
Yes, a bit of a banana bend of the kick. Bit of in-swing on it. Getting away from Michael Voss. Just read it a little bit better than Voss. And he converted nicely from about 40 metres.
The Bears lead by 2 points, back in the middle. Wren decisively knocks it down towards centre half forward, taken away by McLean. His kick back towards the half forward line for the Bears. Now it's taken away by Kennedy, but in the meantime, Ricciuto is going to get a free kick. He was held without it.
Notice Greg Anderson was lining up into the centre bounce there for the Crows.
Down towards half forward goes the kick. Robrin in front, fisted away by Leslie. Going in hard was Craven. This is Hart, close to the boundary line. Not a good kick. He had more than ample time there. He popped it out of bounds on the full. And Tony McGuinness will take the resultant free.
And another important matchup, a bit of a tongue twister. Buckley is being picked up by Bickley.
There goes the kick from McGuinness. Out comes Modra, forced to spoil eventually. Noonan was over the ball. McDermott slides in there and a whistle. A lot of South Australians playing in this game. You look at the Bears, I think 6 players in their lineup played in the South Australian National Football League. So a lot of familiar faces. That was Stephen Rowe looking on and warming up. This is Lee. He turns 30 next week and in trouble. No special treatment there. Noonan slides in. Shovels it out. Smart at close quarters till Lee goes with the left foot inside the 50. Awkward bouncing ball. Hodges over his head now. Modra. Chapman is after him. Well played, young Chapman on his knees. Goes looking for support in Clark. Clark gets it across to McLean. Gets a Shepherd too. He needed one. Bounces off one tackler and crosses the boundary line. We'll spare a thought for young Nathan Chapman, the second man taken in last November's draft. This season so far, he's played on Sumich, Ablett and this afternoon Modra.
And has been most impressive. McLean again. Goes to the half-back line. That kick goes astray, however, and McDermott takes the mark. Into half forward, and Hodges again. Well out in front, and Scott Hodges will have a shot from 50 metres. He's kicked the Crows' only goal to date. But he was probably 5 or 6 metres ahead of Michael Voss. Good looking kick. This is second. And the Crows hit the front. 2-1. Plays 1-3.
Yes, and twice in a couple of minutes. Hodges has got away from Voss. This is a good kick, centering the ball. And the Crows have done that well this season, opening up the gap out in front of the goals, 40 metres in that so-called hole. Hodges filled it nicely and then converted.
Margin 4 points. Wren gets it down. McDermott. Blanketed. Buckley tries to go off the ground. McDermott gets it back to Wren. He's in trouble. That's holding the ball. Kennedy. Advantage is paid. Noonan to Buckley. 60 metres out. Had more time than he thought. He pulls the kick. It goes sneaking through for a behind. Ben Hart talking about promising young players deep in defence. Here's another one. Champion Teal Cupper. Into Mines.
He's just struggling to come up with an option. The Bears implementing the zone defence where players are given an area of the ground to cover, not a man.
McGuinness gets it away. Here's Tregenza. Across his body, the hurried kick into open space. Liptak comes to meet it. Awkward bounce. It runs away from he and Hart and goes out of bounds on the outer side.
Sean Hart, the Brisbane Bears. Ben for the Crows. Sean Hart coming back into the side. He was a late withdrawal against Sydney, but it's good to see him back once again as Clark tries to disappear. Going to be a free kick. It's going to go to Tony McGuinness. Certainly one of the Crows' most important players. Jarman giving him some advice downfield. He elects to go towards half forward. Modra is there. Robran is there, and it's the latter who takes it.
It appears to be a bit of a push out there from the big fly from Modra. Got rid of a couple of players.
Robran's drop punt is long. Into the square it goes. Leslie is there. Hodges is there. And it goes off the top of the pack for one behind.
Well, that time it was Modra on the lead, so obviously they're going to interchange the leading responsibilities between Hodges and Modra. I'm not certain if it's a long-term plan, but Graham Corns seems dead set keen on playing both of these players in the one side. There's no reason it can't work. They just have to get a decent chemistry between the two players.
Leslie and Gastev, and now Fletcher.
Should be a good matchup, Fletcher and Lee. Lee, an unheralded player from the Crows, but boy, is he a good performer.
McLean on centre wing. Drifts it into the centre. Watch out, Kennedy. Back to McLean. Runs through the wing. Wants someone up forward, preferably Merritt. Couldn't take it. And a tackle too high is going to see Visca take the free kick from half back. His kick drops short, straight onto the arms of Kennedy. Gives a little ground. Off to Buckley, 70 metres out. Slams it in towards full forward again. This time the mark's taken, and it's Darryl White. Coming back into the side, Darryl White. Broke his hand in the opening round against North. And then he did suffer ligament damage against Geelong. He makes no mistake. Darryl White gets his first, and it's the second for the Bears.
Yes, and it was an excellent mark, just standing his ground. What a sensational talent this boy is. And if he can be developed, he will be a marvel for the Brisbane side. There we see Kennedy, a real find for the Brisbane Bears, giving it off to Buckley, who slams it down, and a conversion was made.
Brisbane by 2 points. Leslie across half back, aided there by Clark. McLean's playing very well as a sweeper. Leslie back to McLean. Runs it out of defence, goes by hand. This is Fletcher, close to the boundary line. Gets by Tregenza a little too easily. Goes down towards half forward. In front was Scott from behind Maynard. Claims the mark and it's paid.
Yes, McLean really is running off Nigel Smart across half forward. Smart, of course, has the aerial supremacy, the advantage. But McLean's chopping him up on the ground.
Maynard gave it to Anderson, who kicks it down towards the 50. John Gastev gets back. Twice a best and fairest winner for the Brisbane Bears. Played 30 games for the West Coast Eagles. What a servant he's been up here. Content that time to run it out of bounds.
And Johnny Gastev on screen is being given the task of running off Jarman, keeping him in check, but giving some drive to the Bears. They appear to be doing that quite well at the moment.
Noonan's kick taken by Jarman. Now Leslie in the road on his knees. Martin Leslie. This is Voss. Now Ashcroft. Plenty of space, can run it out. Brisbane leading by 2 points. Chapman right up on the wing. Has a bounce, settles, kicks down towards the attacking 50 for his team. Wren from behind got a fist on it. Lee in front at close quarters to McGuinness, who goes with the right boot. Chapman played it nicely. Bickley coming in the other direction, but Buckley got it to Fletcher. Fletcher hooks it inside the 50. No relayed free kick. The crowd is screaming. Hart boots it back.
And a steadying mark taken for the Crows by Mark Bickley. Bickley swings it into the centre. Could be dangerous. Maynard. Play on call. White tries to get it out to Danny Noonan. His kick is partly smothered. It's inside 50. Merritt, a clever little palm towards Gastev. Tried to sock her off the ground. Pressure now on the Crows' defence. Oh, good pick up by Fabian. Yes! What a goal to Fabian Francis. And the Bears hit back. 3-4 plays 2-2.
Yes, the Bears just lifted the pressure in that last couple of minutes. Running the ball from defence. There we see a half-back flank of Gastev being involved. Hart couldn't handle it. Exquisite skills there from Fabian Francis, who slotted a magnificent goal. And that'll appear on Sports World next Sunday. The cross promotion.
Back in the middle. Great goal to Francis. Wren trying to tap it down to Anderson, but taken by Bickley. The Crows go down towards Liptak at half forward. Hart is there. Robrin also. The ball spills free. Now McGuinness gets caught, but does get the hand pass away. Gastev. Tregenza soccers off the ground, and he takes it down to the Crows' 50-metre line, where a throw-in will take place in front of the Brisbane Bears' brand spanking new social club, and it's a credit to them. A magnificent complex. Anderson again, but Leslie chopping it off. Quickly gets it away to Voss. To the half-back line. Buckley and Bickley. Talent here. Look at this talent of this man. Buckley. Couple of bounces across centre wing. Now 3. Now 4. What's he got up forward? Centering flat punt kick is almost good to Francis, who should have held the mark. He didn't. McGuinness had it, but then he lost it. Fletcher goes through, gets caught, gets the hand pass away. Francis almost throws it out. A little tap down to Craven. Craven a high kick, but Wren has the height advantage. But it's stolen by White quite magnificently. In fact, it's Scott. Dion Scott just plucked it out of his hands.
And there it is in replay. It did look as if Wren had the purchase on it, but
had the height, didn't he?
Scott just plucked it, as you said, Sandy. He had everything. Scott came from nowhere, made something out of nothing. And the Bears are just starting to look fairly good at the moment.
Scott kicked the first goal. 20 metres out. He's kicked his second. So 2 to Scott, 1 to White, and 1 to Fabian Francis. And the Bears kick clear.
And here we see Nathan Buckley, the man that all this attraction was centred around, running the ball down from defence, pinpointing a pass. Perhaps it wasn't going to Francis. He shouldn't have spilled that one, but a bit of fumble there from McGuinness let the Bears in for a goal.
Scott is rucking now, so Dion is wandering all over the ground. This is McDermott surrounded. Fletcher over the ball. There's Dion again. Tries to get it out. Anderson against the flow. Inside the 50. Oh, courageous mark. We've seen 2 beauties. Scott at one end, Hart at the other, going back with the flight of the ball, not knowing what was coming. This is a committed football side, the Brisbane Bears, and Adelaide in early trouble around the outer side. Ashcroft towards half forward. They've got to match the endeavour now, Adelaide. This is Murphy, a former Crow, back towards the kick-off line. Merritt must get a free. Oh dear. He was held on to. Gastev towards the boundary line. It's out of bounds, and they're a good footy crowd up here because they boo, jeer and shout very, very well.
Was there a free kick there, Gerard?
Well, there certainly appeared to be. A bit of holding there from Paul Patterson. Roger certainly let everyone know it was there, and he got the support from the crowd, not from the umpire.
From the throw-in, it spills away from McGuinness and over the line once again for another throw-in.
I think the most significant factor in the change for the Bears has been their ability to run the ball from defence, and instead of just blasting away and creating turnovers, maintaining possession with better foot skills.
They lead by 14 points. Anderson gets the hand pass away down towards Jarman. Buckley went it right over the top of him. Francis was there also. Hurried kick down towards centre wing. Kennedy steals it. Big man does well. They've got the numbers. But Jarman intercepts. Oh, now the Crows can start to run. Liptak across to Tregenza. Tregenza inside 50. It's a good-looking kick. Going to be chopped off once again, however. Chapman goes for a defensive hand pass. All Crows players there. Voss and McLean now intercept, but straight to Robran. Robran, which way will he go? Back to Nigel Smart. The former defender kicks goalwards, but he's off target. And through for no score. Out of bounds on the full. Yes, Nigel Smart.
Crows certainly having to work hard in their forward attacks. Good pressure from the Brisbane Bears is creating a few errors. In particular, players of the calibre of Tony McGuinness even having some skill errors, which just reflects the pressure out in the ground.
Long kick from Leslie towards the outer side. McDermott. There's Hart. And Hart's going to get a free kick taken high. He's at half back. Little chip pass out wide. He's playing well, as is this man, Ashcroft. Over the top comes the hand pass. Fletcher sold into trouble. Hacked out of mid-air there by Kennedy. Down towards centre half forward. Bickley on his knees. Surrounded. Tries to paddle it out. Murphy's hand pass intercepted by Anderson. Maynard now to Jarman. Forward of the centre circle. Leslie again in the road.
Good play from Leslie, cutting across, dropping into that hole that we were talking about not so long ago.
Now the Bears can really move it down this grandstand side. 3 of them unchecked. Gaster chips in short. Fletcher. Kennedy runs outside him. Fletcher goes it alone. 60 metres from goal. Sets it up for Merritt down there. Merritt surrounded. It mattered not. Had to punch from behind. Didn't, and will pay the price.
But this is great play from Fletcher. Many players try to just blaze away from that 50-metre zone. It's a poor percentage. It comes off occasionally. But this is far greater football, far better, more effective football. Putting it out in front of the big fellow Merritt, who was up to the task and took a wonderful mark.
Directly in front, Roger Merritt. It sneaks in.
Good goal to Big Roger, and he's been the father up here, almost the grandfather figure, and once again John Gastev running out of defence. It's something I think the Crows will have to look at. Jarman just isn't up to, doesn't have the pace to pick up a player of Gastev's ability to run, and changes may have to be made.
Roger Merritt has kicked his 38th goal for the season. 5-4, plays 2-2. The Bears in control at the moment, but it's Wren who wins the tap down to Anderson out of the centre. He spirals a punt kick down towards Hodges' territory. Can't take it. Hart is there. Smart is there. So too McLean and McGuinness. McGuinness does well. Steps in towards goal, but it must have been either touched. I think it was touched and through for one behind.
Yes, McGuinness started that bounce out of the centre, changing on the ball with Liptak. And their players are going all the way with them. Craven with McGuinness and Sean Hart with Liptak.
The Crows wanting a couple of late goals here in this quarter. Buckley from the back pocket. He's got Noonan hugging the boundary line. You're off, Danny. So he goes underground. Bickley taken high.
I think the umpire's a bit harsh on this play-on decision. A player can't even blink these days and he calls play-on. Noonan didn't run off his mark. He feigned a kick. Certainly that, in my day, was never play-on.
McLean, a good spoil. Voss from half-back, a little chip that was perhaps a little too small. Put enormous pressure on Ashcroft and he's lost it. So Smart to take the kick outside 50. Goes short. Modra.
Once again, good play from the Crows, opening up a hole for Modra to lead into. Smart did well, didn't blaze away, just waited for the opportunity and delivered it well.
Has kicked 52 goals for the season, the first Crow to pass the half century. Looking for his first today. He's now kicked 52 goals and 14 behinds.
Yes, and that one faded the same way as Scott Hodges, going left to right as the player shoots at the goal stick. So perhaps that breeze just putting a bit of work on the football.
Here's Voss, straight up the middle. That is a long kick. Wren got a fist on it. Leslie improvising. This is Clark. Sharked by Liptak. Tregenza over the top into space. McDermott met by Ashcroft. Liptak once more. Delayed the hand pass intelligently. Robran floats it down towards full forward. Taken nicely by Voss. Hart. High kick close to the boundary. Tregenza just inside the field of play. Wishes he'd gone out in the first occasion, I fancy. Met pretty solidly from a couple of directions. And a boundary throw in. Simon Tregenza feeling the effects of that one. Tossed it on the outer side. Kennedy up in front. Anderson didn't have it. Down goes Craven. Anderson has been pretty good so far for the Crows, but their good players are few and far between. Brisbane looking very chirpy, very cocky. 5-4 to 2-4.
On the outer side, Kennedy goes with a roundhouse right and just slaps it towards centre wing. Lee is there, but he's under great pressure. They dearly love a goal before quarter time. Rashudio up towards Hodges. Bounces off his chest. Robran, the big man, tries to storm through. Can't do so. It's locked up at centre half forward for the Crows, and a bounce to take place.
I think that's the Bermuda Triangle as far as Johnny Gastive's concerned. That's where Gary Ablett hit him too, right in about that spot.
Yes,
not on his back, but
well, the fact he put his body on the line has saved his side probably a goal. Hodges would have taken a clear chest mark. Well done.
Still time. Robran tries some soccer work, but it's Chapman who sees it towards the line. Troy Clark there also. And a throw in to take place. Right forward pocket for the Crows. Kicked just a couple of goals in this quarter, and both to Scott Hodges. Anderson caught. Short kick. Hart was there, and again with Clark and with Jarman over the line, and another throw in the right forward pocket for the Crows. Tony McGuinness will be looking for a big day in front of this good crowd. Good to see Queensland people giving good support to the Bears. Fletcher will run out of defence. Up to half forward. Buckley's saying, this is where I want it. He's ignored. Here comes Merritt. Murphy waiting at the back. So too Rashudio. And Rashudio's kick up towards the half-back line. Now they've got a chance to clear through Rodney Maynard. Maynard to centre wing towards Robran. But the siren sounds. It's quarter time here at the Gabba. And the honours in the first quarter with the home side. Brisbane 5-4, 34. Leading Adelaide 2-4-16.
Definitely gives you a big thrill when you run out in the ground with your jumper. I was born in Wagga in New South Wales. We've got to make sure that we beat New South Wales. Of course we can win.
Quarter time at the Gabba. 18 points the margin. The Bears 5-4. The Crows are 2-4. Scott has 2 goals and singles to Merritt, Francis and White. And for Adelaide, Scott Hodges has both of their goals.
Today's game is part of the Carlton and United Breweries 1993 AFL Premiership season.
Plenty of enthusiasm here this afternoon, and why not? They're playing good football at the moment as we go down to the boundary. It's Bill and Max.
Dennis, that was the message from the Bears camp at quarter time. Keep the enthusiasm up and keep applying the physical pressure around the ground, around the packs. Robert Ward's very happy with the team's performance that quarter. Max, how'd you go to the Crows camp?
Well, Bill, a lot of positional changes for the Crows this week. We're seeing Smart on the half-forward line, Anderson in the centre, and Bickley picking up Buckley on a wing. Graham Corns claims they lost a lot of opportunities in that quarter. I think you'll find that Stephen Rowe will come on, and Matthew Liptak coming off.
Thank you, gentlemen. There's Martin Leslie. And certainly the attitude of the Bears has been exemplary in that first quarter. They really did attack the ball hard. They ran it out well, precision kicking. And you get the feeling Adelaide's season could be riding on the line here. 4-4 coming in. They can't drop this one. 5-4, 2-4, start of the second term. Up goes Scott and thumps it about 30 metres, taken by White, lays it off nicely. This is Buckley, a sweeping hand pass out wide to accommodate the run of Fletcher. Fletcher goes down, out comes Merritt, tries to go by Anderson, who did well. Now the big man Wren gets it away. Bickley got it back to Anderson, who boots it down towards the wing. Rowe missed the ball, brilliantly picked up now by Craven. Back towards centre half forward, Viscus around it with strength. Moves the ball about 5 metres. Lee a little untidy. Needed to find a man. Buckley gets by a couple. Buckley just forward of the wing. Floats it into attack again. Hart did well. Shins the ball out towards centre half back. Maynard took his eye off the ball. Clark over it. Well played by Maynard eventually. Tregenza to Anderson, who waits. Tregenza on the run. Now released down towards centre half forward. Goes close to Leslie. Kicks it high. As a result, not quite the distance. Gastiff again. So often the saviour gets across and puts a hand on it.
Pressure on the Crows. As Dennis said, a must-win game for them. This round has been so full of tight, tense matches so far and important clashes. When you look back at the Eagles and St Kilda, similar situation for the Bears. There's a fine mark. Geez, playing well, Scott. Just backed into the pack and floated across. Dion Scott just forward of centre. Goes up towards Roger Merritt. Over the top of Lee, couldn't complete the mark.
Roger looks to be in a bit of trouble.
Down. And for him to be down like that, the stuffing's got to be knocked out of him. We'll keep an eye on things. Up towards Nigel Smart. Couldn't take it, but he was held, and Smart will take it forward of centre wing. Merritt still down behind play. Smart, oh, beautifully smothered. Smart goes in again. Eventually gets it out the back door. Ashcroft takes the hand pass. The Crows a chance to go down towards Fletcher. Lee takes him out. Opens the path for McDermott. His hand pass, though, is intercepted and pushed over the line. And Buckley showing his class in this game. Merritt is up. And that is good news for Bears fans.
Heavy fall, this one.
Could have just taken the wind out of his sails. Good to see he's okay at the moment. Lee. Up towards the half-forward line. Off the boot. And over the line. And that was off the boot on the full, so Rowe will take it. It came from the boot of Hart. Rowe's kick is short. Bickley marks inside 50.
Maynard's off.
Mark Bickley will be shooting for the Crows' third goal. 2 in the first quarter, both kicked by Scott Hodges. Bickley from the pocket. An important kick. Could have taken it across the face. No, it's okay. He's put it through for his first. Very important goal for the Crows. They had to get the first one of the second quarter as Rod Maynard has a spell. And they move a little closer, Jared.
Yes, it was an important goal. Mark Bickley, given the responsibility of threading one, did it pretty well. He's had a bit of a tough time of it on Buckley so far today, but has come back now with a goal.
The Bears lead by 11 points. Clean appear to be pushed in the back. Smart, the hurried kick out of there. Leslie's hand pass back into the congestion. Bickley slaps it out. Robran gets it away nicely. This is McGuinness from 55 metres down towards the kickoff line. Modra behind, turns round and kicks a goal. Opportunistic there by Tony Modra. His first of the afternoon.
And how quickly a game can change. 2 quick goals to the Crows. And importantly, they're getting a couple of their runners into the play with Tony McGuinness on the end of a handball there. He's been fairly quiet today, been well held by Craven. Bickley's had his hands full with Buckley, but he's also been involved in the last 2 goals. If the Crows are to turn this around, they must get some run from their match winners on the ball.
They're closing the gap. Let's see what happens from the middle this time. Ashcroft tries to belt it down towards White. Does well. Scott going past, stabs up towards full forward. Good spoil by Hart. Spills free. Jamison couldn't take it cleanly. Fabian Francis off to Clark. Clark, another one, was meant for Fletcher. He's going to be under pressure. Just inside 50. Patterson takes the hand pass. Tregenza on the boundary line. Loses it to Fabian Francis. Francis kick up towards full forward. Oh, and a spectacular mark taken at the back by Sean Wren. Wren from full back. Floating kick, it's not good, straight to Kennedy. Kennedy plays on, can he kick a goal from here? Well, he heads for home, 60 metres out, into the square it goes. Merritt's in front, couldn't complete the mark, gets the hand pass out to Buckley. A hurried little chip, however, under pressure, and he puts it out of bounds on the full.
Yes, well, Roger Merritt did everything but marked that one. He almost had it, would have been a good piece of play for the Bears. And once again, the pressure of Bickley on Buckley saved them a goal.
Gastev and Jarman are set to duel. Smart, McLean. The quartet is there. Smart has the better on this occasion to Anderson. Suddenly it's down towards Hodges territory. Modra also, but the boundary line will out on this occasion. And a throw in. In the Crows' left forward pocket. They've started brilliantly in the second quarter. 2 quick goals and they've closed the gap. Just 5 points the margin. And they've got it in goal scoring range. A row, a snap. And it's out on the full. Starting on the bench, Rowe getting his chance in this second quarter.
Rodney Jamison has replaced Maynard. He's come onto the dangerous Dion Scott.
Boss out of defence around the outer side. There's the dangerous Dion Scott flying. Down goes Fletcher and we'll have a bounce as if on cue. Just looking at this crowd, it's almost chock-a-block here at the Gabba. A terrific crowd in full voice. Apart from the gentleman in the blue t-shirt. It's out of bounds and a throw in. 5-4 to 4-5. So the Crows starting to work in this second term, and they need to. Brisbane clearly superior in the first quarter. Kennedy in front, having a marvellous season, right up there in a number of media awards. He's got the free on the outer side. He plays on. He's very prominent in the Channel 7 Footballer of the Year award. On the outer side, Craven tackled by McDermott. McGuinness goes after it. The boundary line is too close, and it will be thrown in.
Where the Crows are missing out is they're not getting full value from a couple of their noted possession winners, and I speak of Chris McDermott. Danny Noonan's doing an excellent job on him in the middle.
Anderson's doing very well for the Crows. Releases McGuinness. Long kick inside the 50. Hodges up, off hands, controlled it pretty well on the ground, pulls it around the corner. The next South Australian in the road. The hand pass though from Leslie, not good. McLean keeps it in. Well played. Now Jarman, tackled by Gastev. Still he goes, holding the ball, the decision. It bounced back to him. Now that look, he feigns indignation. I'm not sure he felt it, but Gastev has the free and comes across to Ashcroft, who plays on. They're very adept now, the Bears, at running it out. This is Voss. Well-weighted kick. and back goes Hart to take the mark on the run. It was a very good kick.
Yes, the transformation of the Bears is remarkable. Their kicking to position now is excellent, and that's the reason they were able to swing it from a defence into attack so quickly.
Sean Hart's kick was to perfection for Roger Merritt, who just got a metre in front of Paul Patterson and stayed there. Merritt kicked a goal in the first quarter.
And there you see on the replay, Roger Merritt, classical football, taking the ball out in front in the outstretched hands, not allowing Patterson any chance to get leverage on the football.
Margin at the moment is 5 points. This to stretch it to 11. He makes no mistake, straight through the middle.
Well, Dennis, you summed it up perfectly there when you said that the Bears are now a different side, bringing the ball from defence. And this is the reason why Roger Merritt has been so successful at full forward, because they're bringing the ball in with accuracy, giving him an opportunity to get his hands on the football and bringing it down quickly, so he's one out.
The Bears by 11 points. Out of the centre, Bickley working hard, off to Tregenza. Tregenza forward of centre now. Suddenly the Crows have it down towards Modra. Loses it. Again, Chapman comes out of defence for Brisbane. Towards centre wing, Scott plucks it over the top and is now called to play on. No advantage there. Craven off to Ashcroft. Marcus Ashcroft to the 50-metre line for the Bears. Crows having the numbers. Rashudo near the boundary line. Keeps it in play. Patterson over the top. Visca under pressure. Gets it away to McDermott. And they're going to come out of trouble. Rashudo's kick across centre wing. Leslie was there. McLean also. Clark in front. Look at Troy Clark. Oh, showing great skills. Played by Clark. Up towards centre wing. Ashcroft couldn't get a run at the ball, and Wren takes the mark. Plays on quickly. Hand pass to Mark Visca. Up towards Jarman. Down goes the umpire, but Jarman takes the mark. Danger here. Hodges.
Yes, good swing there from the Crows. They brought it quickly from defence into attack, and that once again allows the Crows to open up that spot 45 metres out in front of goal, the percentage area, and Hodges shouldn't have much difficulty in kicking a goal from there.
This for his third. From 48 metres. What was that you were saying, Jared?
It's the classic Moz. Put it on a player from St Kilda yesterday. And he certainly proved me wrong once again.
Margin now is 10 points. Leslie has it in the back pocket.
He's playing very well this afternoon. Generally does. This is Buckley. High kick towards the wing. In from the side almost to Wren. Taken by Noonan to Gastiff. Sold into trouble was Clark, taken too high. Nigel Smart was coming in very quickly, but the tackle just slipped up. Buckley runs on. Chips it out wide. Too far for Craven. Ricciuto gets across and carries it across the boundary line.
Ten scoring shots apiece at the present time. A very interesting game at the moment. And this, I think, will go down to the wire because so much is at stake for both sides. You get the start of the game, everybody was talking about the need for the Crows to win for their finals chances. Well, I'm sure the Brisbane Bears consider themselves still a chance for the running in September.
Exciting young football team, the Bears. As Wren slaps it out wide, we've got a whistle and a free kick to the Crows. It will be taken by McDermott, I think. There's McGuinness. In fact, Visca is getting it free. Well, I'm not sure what that was all about, but Visca has the ball up from the back pocket. Goes towards the wing. Robrin in from the side at the second attempt. Takes the mark. Brilliant hand pass. Sends Lee away. Spears the pass into Modra.
And that is great football from the Crows. Good to see Robrin getting involved. He's had a tough time of it. Leslie's been on top so far. But it's no coincidence when he gets his hands on the ball, the Crows start the fire. And more than any other player, I think his performance in the next few months will determine the Crows' future. It's an excellent handball, though.
Modra kicking at his second goal. It's close. It's good. Modra has 2. And the Crows now creep closer. It's a real contest.
Yeah, it's an exciting and entertaining game, and that is just fantastic skill there from Robran. Giving it to Scott Lee, who doesn't let him down with a bullet-like spearing pass, and capped off nicely by Modra, who does what he does best, kick goals.
The worm burner. Back in the middle once again. A big knock is won by Scott, but it's taken by Lee, and he sends the Crows down to the half-forward line. Gastiff spoils that in front of Clark, but it goes to Tregenza. He's caught, loses the football. Jarman picks it up, snaps round with a left foot, but only as far as Michael Voss, and he takes a timely mark at half-back. Kicks wide to the flank. Fletcher, McDermott. Fletcher ridden into the ground. Illegally so, says the umpire. Chris McDermott can't believe it. Fletcher has it. This goes short. Chapman across the centre. Nice looking kick up towards Dion Scott. Taking the crumbs is McGuinness. A bounce across centre wing. Back in towards Modra. She got up a mile. Jarman. Snap is wide. And Voss sees it over the line. But could Modra fly?
And there it is on screen. Tried to outdo his one at Football Park 2 weeks ago. If he had held it, it would have been competitive.
Oh, more than.
Would have been competitive.
He set a pretty good standard, hasn't he?
Oh, golly.
Getting back to the football, there has been a change made by Robert Walls. Danny Noonan has come off McDermott and gone on to the dangerous Anderson. As Sandy has said, has been playing well, Anderson.
Craven boots it around the outer side. Jamison floats one back towards the wing. Ashcroft did the discipline thing, punched it forward. Jarman getting busier now, pulls it back to about 30 metres out from goal. Modra missed it, taken by Leslie. Away to Voss, a player of great promise. He's met very solidly. Now Jarman on the outer side. Voss is still down and hurt. His man, as a result, got the ball. That's Rowe, but gave it back to Jarman with an untidy hand pass and then tried to mug Danny Noonan. And Noonan's getting a free kick. There's Voss.
It's in trouble, I think.
The youngest player on the ground. And he's on the ground at the moment, on his knees. Don't like to see that. On the outer side, White, the big leap, Wren in front. Ricciuto gets the hand pass away to Bickley. Jamison has it. Probing kick once more, runs free behind Leslie. He's faster than he looks. Towards the boundary line he goes, but doesn't get it out. Modra gets it back. Robran across his body, misses to the near side. Perhaps could have done better. There's Voss. Gamely back into the contest, but he's not feeling too well.
6-4 plays 5-7. Only 3 points in it. Well, he's up. That's good to see. To Gastev. Careful. Back to Voss. Tregenza might get you. He has.
Oh. Had to be holding the ball.
Well, Jarman and Tregenza cannot believe it. And look at Jarman. And rightly so, would you say, Jared?
Well, it was a touchy one because Tregenza actually had his hands on the football also. There, he's lost possession there. You'd have to say that was being in control. Yeah, that had to be a decision for the Crows.
Play goes on towards Noonan, Anderson and Ashcroft. Also Craven. Back to Fletcher. Oh, look out McLean.
Just tending to overdo the handball in defence at the present time, the Bears. And down goes the umpire again.
Down again, and he could be in trouble. Rose kicking towards the pocket and over the line. And that was Brian Sheehan.
He's got a corky too, the
I think he's gone.
Perhaps Max will give us an injury report from the boundary line. It looked like McGuinness that ran into him.
Definitely a Crow that ran into him.
Didn't like that previous decision, obviously.
Gastev. And eventually shoveling it over the line for one behind. The umpire is up. He's not 100%.
And getting absolutely no sympathy.
Where's the trainer in the ice pack? The magic spray usually is applied at times of need. Players with corkies.
He's gone.
We're looking for the emergency, I'm sure.
Chapman straight down the middle. Good kick to Clark. Called to play on. In fact, it must be a little slippery. Fletcher dropped what he should have taken because Tregenza, who threw it out then.
Well, that was a Crow throw for sure. Absolutely, but the umpire had his vision retarded, Michael Viney, and there it was, the classic Crow throw, that one.
Just saw Jarman over talking with the umpire, who could be receiving some treatment now. White. Hand pass over the top for Clark. Runs through the centre.
Great
penetrating kick to Merritt.
I don't think Jarman was inquiring about the umpire's health either. It was just that he had a captive audience and the umpire couldn't run away. He wanted to talk about that holding the ball again.
I have been impressed with Troy Clark's game today. His skills with the football have been terrific, and also his tackling. He made one on the boundary line earlier in this quarter, which turned the ball over for the Bears and got it back into their attack. Here we see Marcus Ashcroft coming off the ground, replaced by Paul Pios. Ashcroft started on Anderson and has been beaten to date.
That's away to the right and never really coming back. One behind. So a good tight struggle here at the Gabba.
It's had it all, hasn't it?
Well, it has. Umpires going down.
Brian Sheen still hobbling behind the play.
And Modra just missing one of the great marks. McGuinness.
But most of all, we've got two sides, both emerging, both fighting for a finals berth, slugging it out up here at the Gabba with a packed crowd, something that 2 years ago you wouldn't have thought possible.
It's great to see. Kennedy and Wren, the two big men, working hard, but it's Bickley who intercepts off to Tregenza. Good shepherding sees him clear. Jarman back again to Tregenza. Danger here for the Bears. Good looking kick. Modra on the chest. Good football. The Bears in control of that ball from one end of the ground to the other. And Tony Modra kicking for his 55th goal of the season.
Yes, Maynard coming onto the ground to give the big fellow Wren a rest. But Tregenza starting to exert some influence on this game, running through the lines on the wing.
This to regain the lead. Well, it's probably one he should have got too. Almost directly in front. This big Sean Wren has a spell on the bench.
I think the Bears have been doing well is getting the ball away from their kick-ins. They group up at centre half forward and then decide which way they're going to go. Crows using up zone defence.
Kennedy punches on. This is Bickley. A pretty good term. Anderson a pretty good half. Back to Bickley. Jamison. Now Maynard back on the ground. Goes in short. McDermott. Not one of his best games so far. Goes looking for Modra. And he's marked it right on the 50. Well, it's very hard to defence that. When it comes in so quickly, players don't have the option of getting back.
Yes, McDermott has picked up a couple of possessions in the last few minutes when Danny Noonan was shifted from him. And there Modra was just showing his skills in the marking area of the game. You'd have to say that if he's not the best, he's certainly very close to it in that department.
Kicking at his third. Number 55 for this season. That's a lovely kick. The Crows lead it. 6-9 plays 6-5.
Yes, it's been an excellent turn by the Crows. Have turned around what was a worrying time for them in the first quarter. They have the momentum of the game running their way now, and if they can continue that for the rest of this quarter, they may get a couple of goal lead, which will be handy coming into the last half.
Three goals to Tony Modra. 6-9 plays 6-5. The Crows regaining the ascendancy. What happens from the middle? Clark is at the bottom. Going to get a free kick. Troy Clark to send the Bears into a fairly congested forward line, so he comes very wide. Pios has just come onto the ground. Paul Pios has kicked to three Bears players, and they've all missed it. Murphy may get a chance at the back. He spoons it up, trying to accommodate Francis. It's paddled out the back to White. Soccer's off the ground. McGuinness is there, and he defends going wide. Crows will get out of trouble. This is Jamison.
to the running Bickley. Thought about going back, but now goes long towards Nigel Smart, and he takes a good mark just outside 50. They move the ball so very quickly. Modra drops what he should have taken. Chest mark. Chapman gets the hand pass away to Voss, who's got Fletcher further down the field, and he finds him. Fletcher on half-back, thought about McLean, then takes the kick up towards half-forward. Anderson working hard, Noonan working hard for the Bears. The high kick goes towards Leslie, who thumps from behind. Noonan again, comes clear to McDermott. A chip in towards full forward. He wanted Hodges, it's not going to happen for him. This time the Bears defence equal to the task. Kennedy does beautifully well for a big man. Can he go long? Down towards Merritt. Stops, props and takes the mark.
Great play there by the Bears. Big Kennedy lurking across the middle of the ground. Has a licence to roam. He's not taking the centre bounces. He's starting on the wing and then just basically becoming a extremely tall ruck rover. But his big asset is the length and accuracy of his kicking. Got it to Merritt, who led early and then used his body to effect to outposition hard.
McDermott's not right either. Merritt's kick is, I think. 3 goals to Roger Merritt. McDermott in real trouble back at the centre.
And this is the way the Crows have been beaten here at times, where they've just not put pressure on the Bears in defence. And they swing it into attack so quickly now, becoming a far more dangerous combination.
The Bears lead by 2 points. Trying to work it forward. Noonan's kick went about 5 metres. Bickley, an almighty swing at it. Bickley rakes it back in, but feeds it straight to Noonan. The 226ers combining. Down towards half forward. White handles it inside the 50. Merritt, who's got 3, gives it to Pios. Over the top it comes. Now White, can he control it? No, he couldn't. Not in one grab anyway. And the ball goes out of bounds in the pocket. It'll be thrown in.
Well, 2 problems there with Pios's decision. Probably should have gone for goal direct. And of course, trying to put Darryl White into position, the handball was just too long.
Tough job for Ben Hart now, playing on Roger Merritt. Body to body, that's going to be difficult for the youngster. White close to the boundary line. Buckley took it across the line. It'll be tossed in. Merritt has 3 goals so far. At the other end, Modra has 3. We talked about the full forwards earlier. Now Visca and Merritt get involved. And Roger will do the rucking. His best effort was 8 against Sydney. He kicked 7 in round 5 against Geelong. He's on his knees watching McGuinness bring it away this time. Around the outer side, Leslie rarely falls over Martin Leslie, and that certainly is one of his real virtues. The other 2 players in that contest on the ground, and Leslie was scampering after the ball. Great balance.
Good courage there from Kennedy to back in, who once again at centre bounces is starting outside the square. An interesting tactical ploy here from Walls, just trying to open up his team's position at centre half forward by putting Dion Scott into the ruck.
McGuinness, a high kick down towards the half forward line. Maynard is there for the Crows. They dearly love another one. Jarman, short little pass in towards the 50-metre line. McLean, caught by Jarman. He's ridden into the ground and he's been pinged for holding the ball. Vice-like tackle from Jarman.
So those talks help.
And I think it was a different umpire, but Jarman will take it.
These umpires are communicating very well.
An important kick from 55 metres. Won't make the distance, has gone for distance, and in doing so has pulled it away to the left. One behind the result.
Yes, it was a great tackle though from Jarman. Had a big battle with Gastev across the half forward line for the Crows. Just not sure whether he is suited to playing on the half forward flank for the entire game. He'll get his run up on the ball. Just I wonder about the future of having both him and McDermott in the one side.
Buckley goes to half back. Pios had to beat a couple there. It was a big ask. Smart does well to Tregenza. Tregenza, a short little chip is effective, and this time Scott Hodges has the opportunity of booting his 3rd. He kicked 2 in the first quarter. Coming back into this Crows lineup and gathering confidence, which is good to see. Hodges Lovely looking kick off the boot.
Beautiful
Drop punt. Straight as a die.
Oh.
What a goal. So 3 goals to Scotty Hodges, and he says, I'm back.
Well, Graham Corns has continued to show faith in Scott Hodges, and his decision to include him today at the Gabba has been justified. Hodges hasn't let him down. And one of the reasons Hodges has struggled at the top level is because his conversion rate hasn't been great. But here he just shows us exactly what sort of kick he can produce with a magnificent drop punt from outside the 50.
5 points the difference, almost half time. And Gerard, I think you're trying to influence the South Australian selectors for perhaps that State of Origin final. No, Jarman and McDermott in the same team. Not even subtle as Hart goes and finds McDermott, or rather Merritt, on the lead. And Merritt has marked this one about 40 metres from goal.
Well, I just believe that if they're not both on the ball, they're perhaps a little bit slow on the half-forward line. But watch one of them kick 3 in the last half to prove me completely wrong. But back to the action, Roger Merritt can get a very handy goal here for the quarter for the Bears.
Going at his 4th. This to regain the lead. And he puts it through. It's a terrific seesawing affair at the Gabba with a point the difference. And the full forwards are involved in that shootout we predicted at the start. The Bears lead 8-5-53. Adelaide is 7-10-52. Merritt's got 4. Modra has 3. And every time the ball goes inside the 50 at either end, this ground and this big crowd are buzz. So this game very much on the line still. So much riding on it for both these clubs. There's McDermott. He hobbles off the ground. The Bears have come back to lead at half-time by the slenderest of margins.
Representing the Bears, putting the jumper on and looking down and seeing you are playing for Victoria.
We're all pretty confident that we've got a good chance of beating them down here.
Well, we've got to make sure that we beat New South Wales to get a chance at the title.
Time at the Gabba, and the Bears lead by 1.85 to 7-10. Principal goal scorers for Brisbane. Merritt has 4, 2 to Scott, a couple of long raking kicks and singles to White and Francis. And for Adelaide, 3 to Modra, 3 to Hodges. So it's working, at least for the present, on their forward line, and Bickley has the other. Well, I've got to say, Gerard, I'm enjoying this game. Both sides playing very good footy.
Yes, it's been entertaining, hasn't it? The one-time poor relation of the AFL, the Bears are really now a very exciting team. Once the unwanted love child, I guess you could say, Dennis, but now they're really turning it round and they're tackling one of the emerging powers, the Crows, and we all expected them to be fighting it out for the 6. That they're doing, and they're doing it quite well here at the Gabba, maintaining good connection with the Bears, only trailing by the 1 point. The match statistics are up on the screen, and as you'd expect, a fairly even spread right across the board. Centre breaks 8 apiece. We know that Robert Walls is running an interesting tactic there with Dion Scott. Kennedy, the taller of the two, running basically from the centre square onto the ball. Not sure whether it's having that great an effect because although Scott has won a couple of tap-outs, but I think it's probably going to be which side can get a break in the middle. The Bears have certainly closed down the Crows' dominating sentiment. Noonan did a pretty good job on McDermott early. Then I thought he did quite well on Anderson, closing him down in the second half of that quarter. And Anderson was one of the most dominating players. McGuinness getting a few touches, but certainly not one of his best to date.
So we're looking forward to the second half here at the Gabba. Of course, looking forward, we've got the State of Origin Carnival. It commences on Tuesday with Victoria playing New South Wales at the MCG. Here's Stephen Phillips.
Pack 92,000 people into the Melbourne Cricket Ground and pit Victoria against South Australia, and you get some idea of State of Origin frenzy. But since Aussie Rules made the groundbreaking decision to align players to their states of origin, there have been some monumental upsets. How about State of Origin number 1? Victoria against the supercharged West Australians in Perth in 1977. The Barassi-inspired Vics lost by 94 points.
Magnificent play, Max Richardson. What a superb game. That's his 6th goal.
The Vics were dubbed the side that died of shame. In 1990, David Parkin took a Victorian side to Tasmania. At North Hobart Oval, they lost by 33 points. A day that shook Victorian football. In 1991, a third-string Victorian side lost to Queensland at the Gabba, but the one to beat them all happened in May 1990. The number 1 Victorian side went down to New South Wales for the first time in 65 years, on a wet night at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Chairman of selectors that evening was Ted Whitten.
Well, I was shattered terribly. Before, it took me a quarter of an hour to get out of the grandstand. And it's one of those games we just didn't expect to lose against New South Wales.
On Tuesday night, New South Wales under coach Terry Danaher are set for the replay, 3 years on. Leading Victoria will be Paul Roos.
I don't think you can sort of dwell on what's happened in the past. I guess it's a new format this year with the carnival. So we're going to make sure that we beat New South Wales to get a chance at the title. So we realise obviously they're going to be very, very difficult.
New South Wales brings a remarkably strong side, and this time Whitten and his men won't go in half-hearted.
They've got an extremely good side, particularly down the middle of the ground with Longmire and Carey and Brownless, and you've got Crawford from Hawthorn, Tuies and Allison's from North Melbourne. They're studded with good players. So again, no matter where you play the match, it's not going to be easy. We've got to go in fully loaded to win this one.
Only rarely has the Big V been on show in Melbourne, and one of the key players is expected to be St Kilda's full forward, Tony Lockett.
This is State of Origin. It's an honour to represent your state, and I'm sure everyone here is going to do that and do it proudly.
So it all starts on Tuesday, the big State of Origin Carnival. Victoria against New South Wales, ACT at the MCG. Check your local guides for details of the coverage in your area.
The name of the game is Australia.
WA and South Australia haven't played too many State of Origin matches against each other, so both are very keen to do well next Wednesday. Here's Neil Brooks to take a look at the WA state squad.
Over the last 10 years, State of Origin football has been regarded as more of an interruption to the regular season than a showcase of our national game. But that has to change, according to Seven commentator and WA chairman of selectors, Ross Glendenning.
I mean, there are thoughts 3 or 4 years ago, there were, of trying to get this game international. Now, if you're going to go international, you've got to have some sort of dominant state versus state competition, which you can market overseas.
Back in the late 70s, state football had the atmosphere of a grand final. Wearing the state colours was something to cherish.
I mean, I had the opportunity to play in '77 in the very first one, and it was just enormous. I hadn't played an AFL game at that stage, and to be a West Australian included in a team of the ilk of some of the players that played, it was just enormous. And then the ongoing games, particularly around 82, 83, 84, with only points in between the two teams, it was just a great concept. And you played on a Tuesday afternoon when you'd play Saturday or Sunday, and then you played again the following weekend, and there was none of this talk about, oh, you're playing 3 games in 8 days, it's all too hard. I mean, you just did it. So I think we're getting a bit too technical at the moment.
The trouble today appears to be coaches of the AFL are too protective of their star players.
I think there's a bit of individualism with the coaches, which has caused some concern through the ranks, and I think you've got to get that out of the coaching system before you get a truly vibrant state versus state competition.
Rugby league is a classic example of how it can work. To play for Queensland or New South Wales is put on par with representing your country. So now is the time to tap into the potential of our great game. Mick Malthouse will coach WA, and with talent like Peter Matera, Darren Buick and Nicky Winmar on hand, WA are sure to be a handful for South Australia on Wednesday night. There have been a few eyebrows raised, though, as to why Malthouse should be coaching the WA State of Origin side when he's a Victorian. But the feeling over here in the West is Victoria shouldn't be whinging when the draw has been tailor-made for the Big V.
Yeah, well, you'd like to think that the AFL hasn't structured it that way, but it certainly looks a bit of a pick there. I mean, that's not to say that New South won't beat Victoria, but I mean, the odds against that are quite high. So I would think you'd find that it could be Victoria versus WA, Brooksy.
And so a lot of pride riding on that one. South Australia against Western Australia. The winner, of course, to go on. That's on Wednesday at Football Park in South Australia. And looking beyond that, we've got the final at the MCG on Saturday. The 2 winners meet. That's at 4:30 Eastern. And on Sunday at Bellerive, it's Tasmania against Queensland Northern Territory. That game to start at 1:30 Eastern. Check your local guides for details of the coverage in your area. Half-time at the Gabba, and the Bears lead it by a point. We'll be back to see what happens here in just a moment.
It's the name of the game.
Back at the Gabba, half-time, 8-5 play, 7-10. The Brisbane Bears in front by a point after they led by 18 points at quarter time as we go down to the boundary. Bill and Max.
Well, Dennis, although they're leading by the point, Robert Walls wasn't happy at all at half-time, had quite a bit to say to the players, felt they were a little bit blasé in that second quarter, wants them to tighten up midfield. He thinks McGuinness and McDermott are getting away a little bit, started to get the hand passing going, looks for a little bit more action from Craven and Ashcroft, and wants them to wear Modra and Hodges, the two leading goal kickers for the Crows, like gloves this next quarter. Maxie, how did you go with umpire Brian Sheehan at half-time?
Went and had a word to Brian Sheehan, and the good news is Brian is A-OK, had a bit of ice on a cork thigh, but will definitely be back for the second half. From the Adelaide rooms, Graham Corns asking for his players to man up. He reckons that the Bears are creating too much space, particularly when the ball's going to ground, and getting it too easy. Also, he's told the players to take it cleanly and use it quickly. A very wide ground, so go straight down the middle.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Max. Just about set to go in the second half. There's the man in question. Seems to be okay.
Notice Ashcroft is manning up Jarman on the half-forward flank. Ashcroft, of course, had a bit of trouble early in the piece on Anderson, got away from him, got benched, but he's been given a new role in this second half, and Walls will be looking for a big job from him. A man that is a match winner for the Crows.
Dion Scott, who started so well, a couple of strong goals early. Robran on the bench. In the background, Liptak.
And Martin Leslie, who's been a pretty good contributor, had a good battle with Robran, probably on top in that department. 12 possessions. Greg Anderson, as you can see, a pretty good first quarter. And I think he probably got those 6 possessions in the first 15 minutes of the second. Was a bit quiet later. Nathan Buckley has had a pretty good influence on the game at the moment, but still has plenty more to offer.
Start of the third term at the Gabba. And the bounce favours Wren, but we've got a centre square infringement. Craven to get the free kick. Alongside the centre circle, he pumps it inside the 50. Ill-directed though. Ricciuto gets back, claims the mark, and he's away. The young 17-year-old comes across the ground. Well-weighted kick. Jamison takes it, immediately plays on, boots it down to half-forward from behind. Smart didn't read it too well in flight. Again, Mr. Reliable Leslie gets back. McLean sold Ashcroft into trouble. Played it pretty well though, got it to Pios. The numbers tell the story for the Bears. Ashcroft across to Craven, upended, moves the ball towards half-forward. Well played by Scott. The presence of mind to fist it away down there from Wren, and Bickley pushes it across the boundary line.
Yes, the Bickley-Buckley battle has been quite intriguing. Both players having effect for their respective sides. But probably Buckley, if he can just get away for 5 minutes, can light up the Bears.
Good smother by Pios. And another throw-in to take place. No addition to the score in this second half. Francis in towards full forward, but a good mark taken by Ricciuto in defence. Fine grab. Elects to go to the outer side. Crows fighting back very strongly in the second quarter. Patterson on the outer side. Little chip over the top to accommodate Tregenza, who can run on with a chip even wider. Crows looking dangerous here, opening up some space in towards Modra, but chipping in front and taking a good mark is Sean Hart. To the outer side he goes, and he finds Clark. Kennedy calling for it in the middle. In between is Leslie. Loses it. Could be costly. Very costly. Tregenza on the outer side. Into full forward. They've got the numbers here. Modra blazes away at goal and has kicked a goal. His fourth. Great start for the Crows in this third quarter.
Yes, it was a costly turnover by the Bears. The handball to Leslie from Troy Clark put him under pressure. Rowe swept it up, and Tregenza delivered a nice little chip pass. Now Modra was left with 2 options. He had Hodges in the centre of the ground. You can see him there on screen. But he elected to go from the angle, and his kick made the decision correct.
5 points the difference then. Wren gets it down. McDermott back to Wren. Scott on the ground hooks it out. They work it forward through Noonan. Another kick comes in from Craven. In front, Merritt. Oh. Get That's his fifth. Something special there. Off the ground, the big man.
Yes, well, they're calling him the king of the Gabba. Roger Merritt. Have a look at the way this one develops. The Bears just pushing the ball forward any which way they can. And there's Big Roger showing he's adept at more than one game of football.
So Merritt, 42 goals on the season now. Many thought perhaps he'd be struggling this season. He's proving that's not the case. Pios, I think, will get a free kick. Taken high. He's just backward of the centre circle.
John Gastev has gone on to Chris McDermott, and Noonan has reverted to going back onto Anderson.
Murphy up in front. Buckley gets it across to Fletcher. Merritt! Well, Patterson, a look of resignation on his face. Merritt simply too strong, too bulky, too big.
And there's a quick kick into the goal square, and Big Roger took the front position, and once he's there, he's just so hard to get around. And his performance this year has been outstanding. I saw him play in a Foster's Cup game down at Geelong, and one really did believe at that stage that perhaps his career was finished. Such was the performance, fairly ordinary, but has he turned his season right round?
Goal number 6. No, he's missed it. Dear, oh dear. Merritt from point blank range has kicked her behind. Now that's a crippler as far as the Bears are concerned.
Yes, important now to really get a quick goal, the Bears. Such a miss can sap the energy, particularly when young players are in a side.
And most uncustomary from Merritt. Ren the target. Big man marks across half-back. Over the head of Visca. He runs into Leslie. Maynard gets a chance to run to Anderson. He'll go back and take a free kick. He was legged. And Anderson will go towards Modra. He'll go towards Hodges. And Modra is going to be the man to shoot for his 5th. Now, all of a sudden, Merritt has missed. Modra could capitalise. You've got a 2-goal turnaround.
Yes, the Bears really have to get on top of this Modra situation. With Noonan giving away that professional free kick, they should have had Modra covered better than they did.
From 48 metres, he's gone across the face. Hodges was the flyer. Leslie hammered it over the line, conceding it behind. McLean from halfback had a sensational first quarter. Lee leading in the race for the ball. On his hammer is Pios. He's got him. McGuinness, well controlled by Craven. Did it beautifully. Buckley the flyer.
And Nigel Smart's taken the long walk down the whole length of the ground to pick up Roger Merritt. Ben Hart has moved on to Michael Murphy. What a fantastic mark from this superstar in the making, Nathan Buckley. And he would just about make the distance from 55.
Yes, we've seen him kick a couple of boomers here in recent weeks, one in particular against Sydney. This sort of distance wasn't a problem, but he's gone for distance and he's pulled that. But it's a back! Murphy, but it's a push too. And Murphy will hand it over. Ren will take it on the last line of defence. He was pushed out. His kick is wide. It may be a little too wide. No, touched before it went over the line. Although Dion Scott didn't agree, a throw-in will take place. Ren again. Gastev at the back. Tregenza leading Gastev. Tregenza has an airy. Anderson. Back to Tregenza. Crows out of trouble. From centre up towards the half-forward line. Good mark taken by Rowe.
He centres the ball now. Hodges, well, he used the man in front to elevate himself. So a free kick will be taken by Leslie. 2 Port Adelaide players. Craven up towards the middle. Kicks towards centre half forward. One arm was held there. Not good defence by Bickley. He was holding Buckley. Pios runs down the ground. That's ignored. Buckley is going for distance, and that is a magnificent kick. Oh, wow. He's kicked it from 60 metres out, and it's gone through at about half goal post height.
And Buckley just showing Roger Merritt how to kick a goal. Bickley looking for a free kick, but I'm afraid it was against you. And we've seen Buckley kick a lot of goals from this position his short career up at the Gabba. Let's hope it goes on for 10 years.
Once again, it's a point the difference. Scott from the centre. Francis tries to belt it on to man of the moment, Buckley. Flicks it down towards half forward. Rashido going back with the football. Made a brave attempt. White intercepts wonderfully well. Off to Merritt. Couldn't quite reach the hand pass. He may get it back again. Here's the shot from Pios. And Murphy puts it through. Murphy is the man. And all of a sudden, the Bears have their 11th.
And their crowd has found some voice. And this is when the home ground advantage is at its strongest. There we see McLean, was it? Perhaps it wasn't McLean getting the ball on quickly. Couple of change of handball there, and a great goal to Michael Murphy, who's been fairly quiet today, but statistically we know he's a player that usually gets 3 goals per game.
Kicked 8 against Sydney a couple of weeks ago, but the Bears hot at the moment. Crows desperate for the next goal. They have it down towards their half-forward line. Robran applies a very solid tackle. And a bounce to take place.
Yes, with Smart going down to full back, they've got Maynard up on the half-forward flank. A little bit of by-play off the ball, with McDermott dumping Gastev to the ground.
Robran doing the ruck work, got front spot. And we'll probably have to do it again because Brian Sheehan comes in and says, I'll take charge.
Leslie,
72 plays 59.
Leslie doing well, just dropping back into that hole. Going to block up the Hodges-Modra position.
McDermott, a hurried kick down towards the half-forward line. Hodges gives it away to Jarman. Jarman, a left foot kick in towards Modra. Oh, he recovers well and he wobbles it to the post. Gee, I was watching that ball and I thought, which way will it spin? Not the way Tony wanted it. One behind.
Well, such is the character of the shape of their football. It makes you hold your breath there at times, knowing which way it did. Unfortunately for the Crows, didn't get the favourable one, and the Bears take it away again.
Craven through centre wing, up towards White. Couldn't take the mark. Rashido on his hammer. Socket clear. Great smother by Murphy. Opens it up for Fletcher. Back to Murphy again. The big man's caught. Loses the football. Fletcher onto the left foot. A snap in towards full forward. Nigel Smart is there and marks on the very last line of defence.
Great piece of play there by Fletcher. Weighted his handball, putting Murphy into position, but Murphy not quite up to it there. Good pressure from the Crows.
Anderson on the outer side. He's at half back. In towards centre wing. Wren, was he off?
Of course he was.
Certainly a vast difference between this crowd at the Gabba and the one at Carrara. In years gone by, that was more a social event. But this crowd loves their football. McGuinness tries to get it out to Rowe. Back to McGuinness again. Slams it onto his right boot. McLean on the last line of defence. Gets away from Jarman. Oh, they combine well. Voss. Could be trouble here. Back to McLean. And Mickey McLean steadies. He goes wide, but too wide. And out of bounds on the full.
Yes, just overdoing the handball a little bit there, the Bears. They tended to lapse into that style of play midway through the second quarter. If the Crows can just up their intensity a shade, they will get goals because of that handball.
Kennedy bounced his way across half back. Just gets his kick away in time as Robran gave him a bit of a nudge. Lee close to the boundary line. White over the top and shoveled over the line. Bickley had the early job, and what a task on Buckley.
Robran wins it to Lee. Chance for the Crows through Visca. Out in front of Hodges, well in front of him. Can he sneak away from Voss? The youngster right on his hammer. Hodges persists.
Good running to assist.
Now Voss. Leslie from the back pocket, but straight to McGuinness. And Tony McGuinness will pump it deep into the attacking zone for the Crows. Robran's calling for it. One grab. Kennedy flicks it away from him. Gastev leaves it for Pios, but he gets caught. Not before he gets the hand pass away to Francis. Another one back to McLean in the middle. Danger here for the Crows. McLean towards Merritt. Taken out of it. Now the defence to tidy up for the Adelaide Crows. They've got the numbers and going right across to find Rodney Jamison in the back pocket.
Jamison pulls it back towards the middle, and Bickley, good vision there. McDermott just forward of half back. Intended for Rowe. It runs free behind. Hart has done very well in these situations for the best part of the day. He hand passes out wide. Rowe and Hart go after it again. Rowe right on the boundary. Hand passes back over his shoulder. Craven's in the road though. Awkward bounce held without it. McDermott must get the free. Two very talented players, McDermott and Gastev. McDermott takes the kick forward of the wing. Another centering kick. Hodges in front. Modra crashed into the pack and the ball came out of Hodges' hands. And now a whistle. Maynard at the base of things. Matthew Kennedy having a word to say. What a season he's having, that young man. Brisbane really have something by way of a football team up here. A young, vibrant side is Kennedy leading the charge this time. Thumps it down. Jarman's hand pass too slick. Bickley couldn't control it. Ashcroft, another of the young tyros. Brilliantly done by Pios. They need a bit of luck here. They've set it up. They've got the numbers. Down goes Scott. Bickley had other ideas. Scott will get the free. Well, the thinking was good. Just a fickle bounce in there. Denied them the run across half forward. But Bickley, once he was favoured by the bounce, worked very hard. Still Scott kicks it inside the 50. Wren was up. Controlled it well on the ground, Wren. They've almost got a kick there as Merritt crawled over his back, and a bounce about 35 metres out from their attacking goal. That's the Bears.
Isn't that last passage of play just exemplified an important facet of our game these days, and that's just the getting the ball forward any way possible. Kicking, punching, knocking it on, and having numbers running forward towards your goal.
Francis, a high kick in towards full forward. The mark not taken, not paid anyway. And Murphy sees it over the line from behind. This crowd really has come to life in a good tight game. Just a couple of kicks in it. Lee, I'm afraid for the Crows, sees that ball sail over the line. Leaving the ground is Maynard. Merritt has the football, but he's going to be kicking well outside 50. Short to Gastev.
Oh.
And over the line.
Well, Gastev perhaps should have got the free kick, but there was no need for it. He should have taken the mark as Danny Craven comes off the ground for a rest. Which means that McGuinness is lurking somewhere on his own. Obviously with a new opponent, we'll pick that up in a tick.
Wren has a free kick, Jared. Straight off to McGuinness. Short, up towards the half-back line.
Yes, it's Troy Clark that's now in pursuit of Tony McGuinness. Tregenza was getting on top of Troy Clark on a wing.
Matthew Liptak back onto the ground. Merritt doing the ruck work. Smart, can he get clear? Yes to Rashudo. Over the top once again. The Crows needing a goal. Jamison. Oh, cut off by Pios. Paul Pios started the day on the bench. It towards half forward. Murphy, 1-2 grabs. Play on is the call. Fans don't like it. Murphy doesn't like it.
There's an umpire saying that there was a Crow player got first bite of that cherry.
What do you think?
Not on your life.
Good to hear the fans giving them a nice hoot, though. That's what football's all about. There's the squarer for you.
Oh, golly.
Well, it happens
Nigel
at Football
Smart
Park. It happens at Football Park, and it happens at Victoria Park, where the crowds really get on side. Interstate football supplies a one-sided crowd, and the umpires are human. They're going to be influenced.
So Roger Merritt
going for number 6 with his 10th kick. He'll be tested, kicking from 48 metres. Drop punt away to the left. One behind. 11-8. Plays 8-12 in a thriller here at the Gabba.
Well, they've had a chance to wrap it up in this term. They haven't, and the Crows still hanging in there. There's Hart. A sea of faces as the backdrop. He drives it towards the outer side. That's a massive kick. It almost bounces out to the wing. Here's Francis. He'll put it back in again. They need to convert these attacks to goals. Going back with great courage was Anderson, who recovers brilliantly on the ground. The Crows' best player. He chips it across to Jamison. Jamison towards half forward. And now Robran needs to go. Leslie kicked it away from him initially. This is Rowe, who's been pretty quiet. Back to Liptak. Liptak from 60 metres out looking for Hodges. A timely hand from Ashcroft. He deflects it across towards Chapman. Good composure. The young man gives it to Gastiv, who breaks away. Boots it towards the wing. In from the side. A Bear player leapt at the pack. That was Fletcher, and I think rightly so. It's going to be a Crows free. I'm not sure Fletcher was going at the ball. And taking a long time to get up is Wren.
Which player has been awarded the free?
Well, McGuinness takes it. I think it may have been Wren's kick. Robran has the ability to take a spectacular mark, and that was no exception. Wren slowly to his feet. Meantime, Robran kicks it high. Hodges behind, favoured by the kick. Should have held that one. Liptak, 12 metres out, kicks a goal. Liptak, very opportunistic there. His first. 9-12, plays 11-8.
Well, it hasn't been a happy sojourn north for Liptak today. Spent a lot of time on the bench after a slow start, but has an opportunity now to get something out of this game. A good goal when it needed to be got.
Good news for Crow fans. Sean Wren back on his feet once again and in the thick of things in the centre. Bickley tries to get it out to McDermott. He's successful. The Crows down to half forward. Rowe is there, but cutting it off is Leslie. Wide to centre wing. Noonan and Francis both there for the Bears. Tregenza also for the Crows. Look at McDermott throw himself at that football. And the ball up on the outer side. The outer wing. And still anybody's game here at the Gabba. It's going to come down to the last quarter. There's no doubt about that. Wherever you may be viewing it, we hope you're enjoying it. Visca starts the handball rolling. Finishes with Anderson. Long and low in towards Hodges. Across the half-forward line. Voss is there with him. Hodges gets caught. Spills free. Now a chance for the Bears to clear. They've got the numbers. Ashcroft up towards half-forward. Where's White? He's the flyer. Couldn't complete the mark. Fletcher applies the tackle. Lee under pressure. Bickley gets it away. Oh, great smother by White, away from Rashudo, but he can't finish it off with a goal. One behind only. But a sensational smother. And then followed it up.
Yes, there's a handball. Rashudo with the kick. He was looking for someone to give it to. There was nobody on the members' wing. So he's looking inboard. By delaying it, White got towards him. Once again, inaccuracy, and that perhaps will be the telling factor in any loss that the Bears do produce today.
Sean Wren took that centre bounce, but he's now left the ground and having a bit of a spell. 11-9, plays 9-12. Nigel Smart marks on the outer side.
The Crows under plenty of pressure. The kick in towards half forward. And Scott, good strong mark. Just forward of half back. A real crowd pleaser this game, and very competitive. Scott inside the 50. Oh! Smart. Plays on. Across it comes to Jamison. Rather untidy kick out wide. Pios a little too nimble, surprisingly, for Anderson. Goes looking for Kennedy. And once again, Jamison, sensing the danger, gets in there to claim the mark. squares the ball this time. Lee has to wait.
Just to hold him up. Crows with loose players, in particular McGuinness.
And Visca. This is Patterson who's got it. Went looking for McIntosh, or rather McGuinness. The hand pass wasn't a very good one. Amazing how names come back. Around the other side, McLean. McLean on the 50. Long kick. White through his hands. Oh, great defence down there by Visca. He got back quickly and forced it across the line. Now, is he going to get a free kick? He is. Right on the goal line. And Murphy will have to come back.
And has made a very good start to his AFL career, young Visca.
Tregenza with a man on down the ground. Left half back. The chip pass comes over the top. Bickley can run now. Should have run another 15 or 20 metres. The kick, though, favours Rowe. Rowe now 35 metres out. A question of accuracy. It's bending back superbly. Something special from Stephen Rowe.
Yes, in the last 5 minutes, I believe, perhaps are going to be the most costly for the Bears. Missed a number of easy shots at goal. Ashley Green not going back quite hard enough there. Allows the ball to bounce. And what a special kick that was.
Great quarter of football here at the Gabba. Seesawing struggle. Clark tries to take it out of the middle. Shrugs a couple of tackles. Gets away from Rowe, who kicked that last goal, but he's run too far. So Rowe's going to send the Crows into attack again. First half of the quarter belonged to the Bears. The last 5 minutes, the Crows have hit back hard. In towards Modra. In the right forward pocket. Liptak caught. Gets the hand pass away. Pressure now on the Bears defence. Pushed towards the boundary line. Marcus Ashcroft is more than happy to see it go over. And another throw-in. There's Ashcroft. Scott does the ruck work, pushing it away from goal. Francis caught. McDermott steals it. In towards half-forward. Leslie stands his ground as the galloping horde comes towards him. And he's going to be rewarded. Showed great courage. Pios is his man. 4 or 5 metres in front of Bickley. Centering kick in towards the middle. Jarman. Holt's heart for a moment. He'll go short into the centre. Scott. Ashcroft again. Can Merritt take a mark? No, he can't. White is there. Had it. But he had it spent before he got it. And it's going to open the door for the Crows. McDermott on the end of the hand pass. Across to Tregenza. Forward of centre. Tregenza goes towards the 50-metre line. And a good mark taken by Marcus Ashcroft. Defending stoutly for the Bears.
Fantastic running there by Ashcroft. He was involved in the passage that sent the ball downfield. He got back hard. You love to see that if you're a Bears supporter. This is Merritt on the outer side. Centres it. Gastev. Meters in the clear. Again squares the ball. Hart, who's been very good, working up from the back. Takes the mark on the wing. Probing kick inside the 50. Murphy the target. Fisted away. No chance in front. Green was the man who was trying to rove the pack. Anderson quickly onto the boot. It comes to Pios. Men on in the middle. He takes the longest option. And the mark is held by Clark. About 60 metres from goal. He chips it towards the pocket. White from behind. Merritt leads back. Lee gets there first though. Swings it out wide. McDermott presenting himself on the wing. Now a chance for the Crows. Good chase. Forced the error. Robrin in front. Got the hand pass away to Patterson. Patterson the hurried kick. Not a good kick. It favours Rowe though. And Rowe has this one down towards centre half forward. 11-9 to 10-12. The Bears lead. It's a narrow lead. Modra slipped over. Chapman has tried hard. Hugs the boundary with the kick. Hoping perhaps it would go out. This is McDermott.
Off to Patterson. A high kick by the youngster up towards Hodges. He's the meat in the sandwich. Couldn't take the mark. Robrin needs help. Gets it from Rowe. On 50 metres and he's got a free kick. Cop one high. Rowe has kicked one. That was just a few moments ago. But the Crows have hit back hard. And if Stephen Rowe can convert this, they'll hit the lead. But he's going to be kicking from 55. Rowe with a drop punt. On its way into the square. Hodges, one of the flyers, over the top, but it was touched and one behind.
Must have been a very faint touch.
Took an almighty swing. He didn't change the direction of that ball one iota there, Michael Voss.
10-13. Ashcroft bounces his way down towards centre wing. Time ticking away in this third quarter. Wants White. Almost plucked it in with the one hand. He's an exciting player to watch. Green taken out of it, but he butters up to tackle Lee. Kennedy caught one high from Bickley. It's going to be the last man standing here. Anderson does well to Jarman. Up towards Stephen Rowe, who marched on left half forward. McLean chases him, but he centres it. Good looking kick on a fine spoil. Sees it come down towards Liptak. Goes wide to McGuinness. Tony McGuinness could run on, but he'll swing back now. Turn onto that left foot and have a shot from 55.
Yes, the Crows looking a far more composed combination at the moment. The Bears just breaking down up in the forward line, continuing to kick the ball towards the left forward pocket, looking for Roger Merritt one out, but they're doing quite well in the defensive area now, the Crows, and having better runners at the feet.
This for his first. More importantly, this for the lead. Long kick on the siren and one behind. So it's three-quarter time here at the Gabba, and the scene is set for a great last quarter as Sean Wren leaves the bench. A point in it. Brisbane 11-9, 75. There was only a point in it at halftime. Adelaide 10-14, 74.
It's the name of the game.
Well, the Bears continue to lead. It was a point at half-time. It's still a point. 18 points was the margin at quarter-time. Checking the goal scorers for the Bears. Big Roger Merritt has 5. It should have been 6. He missed his sitter. Dion Scott has 2. And singles to Buckley, Murphy, Francis and White. And for Adelaide, Tony Modra has 4. 3 to Scott Hodges. And singles to Rowe, Bickley and Liptak. We're set for a thriller. 7 Sport is the home of big sport, and speaking of thrills, the State of Origin series commences this Tuesday. It's Victoria against New South Wales ACT. The competition continues throughout the week, and then the Australian Touring Car Championship. It's round 6 at Eastern Creek. That's on Sunday, June 6. And up ahead, the Rugby League Test Series, Australia against New Zealand, with the first test direct from New Zealand on Sunday, June 20. Check your local guides for details of the coverage in your area. And just a reminder too, the nomination for round 9 in the Norwich Rising Star Award was Essendon's Dustin Fletcher, playing only his 5th game of AFL football. Certainly a Norwich Rising Star. Well, I guess you've got to say one of the hottest tickets, one of the most rewarding tickets in sport at the present time, has got to be the Brisbane Bears at the Gabba, because haven't they provided some great finishes this season? We're set for another one as we go down to Bill McDonald.
Well, Dennis, I think Gerard touched on it a bit earlier. The main message from the Bears camp at three-quarter time from Robert Walls was move the ball quickly. When they moved it quickly for the first 3 quarters of the game, they looked good and they scored on most opportunities. Noonan's coming on to be on McDermott, and Walls also felt that the Bears dragged the chain a bit in the midsection of that quarter. He wants them to dig deep and try and bring this one home. How'd you go, Max?
Well, Graham Corn's not too happy with Adelaide's commitment in that quarter. Opportunities again went missing. However, towards the end of the term, the Crows started to play with a system, and he wants that type, that style of play to continue in the last 30 minutes. He's asked the little men to keep that work rate up. He said he's very pleased with that, and that's what's keeping him in the match. An update on Sean Wren, although not confirmed, we understand it's a rib problem, but he should be back on the ground.
Max Stevens down on the boundary with Bill McDonald. So we're set. The final term. There's the man they were talking about, Sean Wren, set to go. He must. The margin just a point. 75-74. And this crowd at the Gabba have been spoiled, as I was saying. Just the 1 loss in 4 games up here. They set some records against the Swans. That loss by a solitary point in a thriller, and perhaps a game they should have won against the Cats. And now it's going to be a Bears free to be taken by Pios alongside the centre circle. Paul Pios kicks inside the 50. Merritt comes on the lead. Wren gets back with courage. Ricciuto, sweeping hand pass. McGuinness now. The defensive side of halfback kicks it out wide, favours Bickley with the kick, and Bickley does well. He doesn't let him down. Robust defender. The kick half charged down there by McLean. Eventually it comes to Rowe. Nice football. Rowe runs to the 50. Kicks towards full forward. Wrestled out of it is Chapman. It may be a goal. It is. So Stephen Rowe, a couple of stunning left footers, kicks his 2nd goal, and more importantly, gets the Crows in front.
Yeah, so Mark Bickley once again having a part in this goal. I think he's going to have to be looked at by Robert Walls. Certainly causing some trouble. Pios giving him too much latitude. But Rowe has been one of the real finds this game for the Crows. His last half has been inspirational.
Back in the middle once again. McGuinness charges out for the Adelaide Crows as they regain the lead with Jarman on the bottom. He should just about be pinged there. No, says the umpire. McDermott applies the tackle. Tough in there. Francis gets it out towards Anderson. A hurried kick to the right half forward flank for the Adelaide Crows. Liptak. And umpire Michael Viney comes in and decides he'll take charge.
Greg Anderson has a new opponent in Ashley Green coming off the bench. Should have plenty of legs to go with Anderson.
There's the bounce. Ashcroft forced to do it, taken by Jarman. Left foot high kick towards Robran and Leslie. Good spoil by the latter. Bickley and Pios. Bickley pushed into the ball, took it nicely. Pios recovers well. Gets it away to Danny Noonan. A high kick to the half forward line. Murphy stood his ground. Had a field day a couple of weeks ago. Well, most of Brisbane did when they played Sydney. Murphy kicked 8.
But this one is probably more important than any of the goals he kicked that day.
This to regain the lead, Jared. From 50 metres. Drop punt on its way, and it's away to the right. Still in play. White on the boundary line. Loses it. Merritt also couldn't take it. Shoveled out. Snap. Smothered once again. Oh, it's desperate times now for the defence. Craven gets through. Another fine smother. Rashudo is in there for the Crows. Nigel Smart slams it towards the line. Buckley is there. McGuinness also. Murphy gets it away. Fletcher a high kick. Can anyone take the mark? Tregenza copped a high tackle and he takes the free kick.
Put his hand up when it needed to be done. Put his body on the line. Big Roger was bearing down on him.
Ben Hart gets it away. Back towards centre wing. Kennedy beaten for it. Was it a throw to Anderson? Was that a throw? Kennedy says, let go of my leg. I'm trying to get a kick away. The advantage is paid now. Scott, 70 metres out. Heads for home with a long kick. Merritt and White both fly. McGuinness waits down and he'll clear for the Crows.
Bounces out of defence. A third bounce carries him up to left half back. Looks downfield, not much on offer. Now goes by hand over the top to that man again, Bickley, who stumbles. Regains his composure. Gets by Ashcroft. Kicks inside the 50. Taken by Modra. Gets the hand pass back to Liptak, who set up the last goal for Rowe. It comes to Robran, who throws it onto the left boot and puts it out of bounds on the full. A thriller. 5 points the difference. John Gastiv looking old beyond his years there as the ball goes towards the outer side, and Fletcher centering kick. Noonan prepared to run. He works hard. This is McLean, who started so well. Kicks it down towards half forward, but a wide kick. Rachuto is up. Craven perhaps should get a free and will. Danny Craven, who played 10 games for the Saints, is at right half forward. Merritt offers the lead. That's the direction the kick takes. Up he goes, slaps it behind. Lee is there outnumbered. Did the right thing. Socks it across the face of the ground. Now Tregenza, who's been a valuable player this afternoon, grabs it at right half back. Rowe and Tregenza, little 1-2. Rowe not very adept with the shepherd. It comes up towards Robran. Missed an awkward half volley. Jarman quick hands away. Anderson hasn't got it and will take the free kick. McLean's not happy, but Anderson played it pretty cagily, just knocking the ball away. He is a master of getting the ball quickly onto his foot. This time, of course, he's got more time. He kicks inside the 50. Modra launched himself. Liptak, socket off the ground by Hart. Hart still going, forced to kick with his right foot, goes for the boundary and finds it.
So a throw in on the outer side. 5 points the margin, favouring Adelaide in a seesawing game. Only a point the difference at half time, point the difference at three-quarter time. McLean had a wonderful first quarter. Now Pios, getting very dark, goes into the centre. Green came off the bench in the third quarter. Puts the Bears down towards their 50 line. White, taken out of it by Lee. White recovers to apply the tackle and the ball over the line.
Yes, once again, though, the Bears continuing to run wide to the pockets, trying to get that kick into the forward line. Their delivery into that area has been what's letting them down since half-time. They've worked hard in defence and through the middle of the ground to supply the opportunities. They've been too one-dimensional, kicking it the long bomb into the forward line, hoping a Merritt or a Murphy will take a big mark.
White did the ruck work. Jarman. Green on his hammer. Close to the boundary line. Jamieson clears towards centre wing. On the outer side, it goes over the line. And another throw in. Danny Noonan. And Chris McDermott. From the throw in. Noonan's kick, partly smothered. McGuinness to Rowe. Rowe's kicked a couple of important goals. He swats it back, trying to keep it in play, but he's unsuccessful.
Got a very tall forward line at the moment. The Bears have Kennedy, White, Merritt, and also Murphy, and they just don't appear to have the crummers there when the ball hits the ground.
No, thinking just the same thing. Here's Scott. He has the ball on the wing. Chapman is on. Buckley doesn't see him. Chapman was about, I suppose, 40 metres in the clear. Here's Murphy. Still Chapman is on. Now he goes to him, and the young man gets across and takes the mark about 35 metres from goal. Well, he demanded that ball all the way down the ground. A running defender now has it directly in front with the most important kick.
Well, it's a great passage of play from a young player. Just took a gamble, pushed himself down. If the turn over had have come, it probably would have finished with Modra. But Modra didn't quite pay him the respect and man him up midfield when he had the opportunity. And now this could be the telling goal of the match.
He wouldn't have kicked too many AFL goals. Could well be his first. If he kicks it.
It's the story of the day for the Bears, though, missing opportunities that should be converted. You could think of 6 in the last half an hour of football.
So the margin is 4 points, plenty of time.
Smart, better be quick. Goes over the top to Hart. He can bounce his way through half back. And a little chip over the top finds Visca. First gamer from Glenelg, Mark Visca into half forward. Oh, he's covered some ground.
Oh, that's terrific.
Fantastic mark by Chapman. Wants Francis. Could be danger here. Tregenza. Centering kick. Rashudo from 55 metres. He loses it. The ball spills free to Ashcroft. Gets the hand pass away to McLean. Now it's with the Bears. Green on the outer side. A little bit of space for Green. Has a look up forward. Goes towards White. A flyer in front. Couldn't complete the mark. McGuinness waits. Kennedy over the top. And a bounce on the 50-metre line for the Crows.
Once again, the ball hitting the ground and the Bears with no defenders. Well, just having a look at Fabian Francis. He just appears to have run out of gas. He's looking for a taxi at the present time, and Tregenza may be a damaging player.
Anderson. Cool in a crisis. Off to Hart. To the outer side, and Bickley, he may be quite happy to see that over the line. Throw in on the outer side. The Crows lead, and there's only a kick in it. White off the ground. Wren over the top towards Bickley. Mark Bickley's long left foot kick is good, and it's effective because Liptak has marked on the 50-metre line.
As Gastev has come onto the ground, onto the forward line, perhaps it'd be worth considering putting Gastev onto a Tregenza, and Fabian Francis, a bit of a goal sneak up in the pocket.
Liptak, long kick, good looking kick. What a goal! Liptak gets his second, and the Crows sneak clear.
Yes, a commanding lead in the context of this game, 10 points. Matthew Liptak, we said earlier, didn't have much of an afternoon, beginning up in the forward pocket, then getting benched for a fair portion of this game. But with 2 valuable goals, he has made his mark on the game.
So the Bears have been wasteful, and the Crows have been steady. Most important goal, that one. Murphy to Francis. From 55 metres out, is it a quick reply? Yes, it is. Oh, there's life in this game yet. Francis at full tilt, storming through centre-half forward, notches his second, and it's back to 4 points with just over a quarter of an hour remaining.
Well, on second thoughts, I think it's not a bad move keeping Francis on the wing.
Coach Healy.
But have a look at the pace of Francis bursting off the centre of the ground, and that's his asset. It's anaerobic power, not so much the ability to run all day. If he can continue to kick goals, well, nobody will be moving him anywhere.
Well, Dion got the early ones. Fabian gets the latest. Back in the middle. Ah, memories. Up they go. Scott thumps it out wide. Here's Fletcher. Pios. Quick hands to Buckley, and here come the Bears. Merritt up in front, fisted away by Smart. Who can find it on the ground? Roger can. Great stuff. Gastev, who's not fit, from 45 metres out, pulls it back. Murphy, despairing lunge, dropped it. Still an opportunity. Francis again. Oh, Fabian has missed this time to the near side, but not by much.
Oh, what a finish. Three points in it.
It's a great second effort there by Roger Merritt, though, just to lunge at the football and get it out to
Slap it out. Jamison from the back pocket. Goes towards centre wing. Liptak lunges and takes the mark.
Great mark.
Matthew Liptak kicking up towards Robrin. Leslie, an effective spoiler. Buckley tidies up at the back. Sweeps a long hand pass to Noonan, but he's under pressure from Rowe. Tackled too high, said the umpire.
Nathan Buckley has picked up a couple of possessions in the last minute, but really has been quiet for a quarter, and they do need a big lift.
Ashcroft to Gastev. Fletcher trying to find a path. Now trying to find Merritt. He's got to beat a couple. Was he held? The umpire said no. Fabian!
Oh, what was that on?
Throw. A throw. Oh, it's all happening here. Smart has the football, and he goes to Anderson in the back pocket.
It's going to be last man standing. Both sides fighting back, not giving in.
Certainly is. There's a fine mark. Mark Visca. Enjoying his first game. Into the centre, McDermott. Got one earlier on. And a fine diving mark by Modra. Just slips out of his arms. Not paid. Goes to ground. And a bounce. But it's in the Crows' attacking zone. They lead by 3 points. And there's plenty of time left.
Danny Noonan off the ground now. Here's the bounce. Just over 13 minutes remaining. Scott hooks it down. McLean. In fact, here's Noonan. So who have we got off the ground? As Noonan goes down towards half forward. Up in front, Murphy. Ricciuto knocks away. It was Fletcher who went to the dugout. As Green tracks it out towards the boundary. Hand pass to his own advantage. As a result, didn't have the ball, so he's got the free.
The Crows had the numbers there. Perhaps Ricciuto made the wrong move in dragging Green down, but Ricciuto has had a big game.
Green goes looking for Merritt. Runs free behind. Oops, Lee. Kept his head well. This is Jamison. The Crows looking to go 5-4. Such an important game for them after they started with 3 wins. McDermott finds Jarman, who can run now. Closing on him, Ashcroft. Jarman too slow, but he pinpoints the ball.
Free kick.
More by good luck than anything else. Rowe's taken the mark, and the kick will stand. It would have been a free to Jarman, I'm sure.
But if it was a free kick, why doesn't it go back to Jarman? Certainly wasn't after the play.
No. Here's Rowe. As Rowe kicks, and kicks truly. I think that Jarman would have got the free had the ball been lost to the Adelaide Crows. 13-14 to 12-11. Stop with those hard questions, Jerry.
Well, the fact is that perhaps the game has been decided on that decision, and it really does make you wonder.
Very handy goal for the Crows. 13-14 plays 12-11, but it's not over yet. 83 plays 92. Out of the middle. If the Crows get the next one, it may be over. Ricciuto and Buckley. Buckley still going. Goes to ground, tried to paddle it out the back door to Murphy. Now Gastev, they've got a chance. Green, fresh man on the ground. A high kick. Merritt slipped at the critical stage. Fisted away. Gastev, still going. He's not fit, but he gets the hand pass away to Fabian Francis. Francis, a high kick. Who can take a mark? No one. Gastev threw it out. Merritt off his hands. Smart towards the boundary line. Oh. Pressure galore down in that forward zone for the Bears, and the Crows hold them out. Here's the throw in. Merritt palms it out the back. Gastev is there, but he's ridden into the ground. Off to Craven. A short little chip is partly smothered. Hurried kick by Ashcroft. Gathers little distance. Hart off the ground. Straight to Dion Scott, who blasts away at goal, but he's away to the left and one behind.
That ball was touched, so the mark wouldn't have been paid. He was told to play on, Scott.
Big Matthew Kennedy has been taken down to full back for the Bears. They've moved Michael Voss up into the forward line. Obviously just trying to get a little bit more run on the football in that area.
8 points the margin. Still plenty of time. Ricciuto at half back. Goes to the outer side, becoming very dark here. Mark taken by Jamison. Long kick by Rod Jamison down towards the left half forward flank. Stephen Rowe, who's kicked 3 telling goals, sees it over the line.
Boundary throw in just outside the 50.
Ashley Green just going off the ground. Looks like Darryl White coming back onto the ground for the Bears.
This is Rowe, got it from Scott. Not Scott's intention. High floater back inside the 50. Noonan up, punching away. Bickley couldn't control it. Buckley out of the congestion, but only as far as Jarman inside the centre square. Long kick down towards full forward. Chapman and Modra. Modra at the second attempt was taken high.
Robran.
Advantage is paid. Robran runs on and kicks a goal. That's his first. Modra would have got the free. And now it's going to be tough for Brisbane to get back from here inside the last 10 minutes.
Yes, and if they do win, it'll be a well-deserved victory for the Crows. It's one of the grounds where home ground advantage is such an important factor. Good work there from Modra, who hasn't been dominant, but he has kept persisting and has played his part in this, what should be now a win for the Crows. Still their finals hopes are alive.
Sean Wren prepares himself in the centre. Copped a couple of heavy knocks today, spent some time on the bench. Deon Scott. Not over yet, but the Crows in the box seat now. 84 plays 98. 14 points. Can the Bears answer as they did last time? Who can win it out of the centre? Wren at the bottom, scoops it out, taken by Ashcroft. Brasciuto hammering back towards half-back. Someone going past in Lee. That's effective play. Scott Lee heads towards Tregenza territory. Well spoilt, so too is Liptak. Francis tumbles it out. He was pushed, the advantage will be paid. Now Troy Clark sends the Bears up towards the 50-metre line. Gastev is there, he's not fit. Murphy there also, but a good mark taken on the last line by Scott Lee. Short to Brasciuto. Suddenly, the Bears a little ragged. The Crows having loose players. Tregenza is clear. Goes over centre wing. Up towards Liptak. Noonan at the back. Tregenza to Clark. Put pressure on him. McDermott out the back door to Robran. Little left foot chip to by Robran. Up towards full forward. Modra very quickly to Rowe. Spins out of trouble. Sweeps a hand pass wide in towards the pocket. Liptak is there. Can he kick a goal? Bends it back. And where's he gone? Into the scoreboard.
Didn't quite get too much bend on it.
Not enough. So no addition to the score.
Here's Kennedy. Gutsy performance by the Crows if they win this. They really struggled at times in this game. Scott is up, Robran behind. McGuinness gets Buckley off his feet. Now chips it back inside 50. Hodges comes to the ball, couldn't control it, keeps it in. Still he goes. No, he did not. He took it across the boundary. So a throw in right on the 50. The Bears have led at every change today by as much as 18 points at quarter time. Scott swings it wide. Pios tracks it towards the line. Once more, it'll be thrown in.
Yes, but you just cast your eye across the ground, and it's the Bears players that have their hands on their hips. They're the ones that are now looking tired. The Crows have continued to run and have worked perhaps a touch harder in this last quarter.
Scott gets it down in the gathering gloom. Pios can't control it. More work for the boundary umpire. Anderson in the background there has been a fine player all day for them. Quiet just before half-time, but here he is again as if on cue. Grabs the ball 70 metres from goal and finds Modra. And he was lucky to get the periscope down just in time there. A looping right hand came over the top. There's Chapman on the mark. Robran did well.
Yes, you cannot let Anderson have free run at the football as he did then. Such a wonderful kick of the ball. Sets Anthony Modra up for another 5-goal haul.
By his standards, not immense. 2 10-goal hauls this season. Low trajectory kick, but effective. 5 to Modra. He's not happy with the kick, but it was a goal. And now you get the feeling the Crows have broken the back of this resistance.
Yes, it's been a pretty ordinary day by Tony Modra when you consider he hasn't taken anything near mark of the year. He's only got the 5.
Oh, you're a hard man.
He's going to have a look at himself.
The room of mirrors. 5 goals to Tony Modra. Adelaide leading 15-14 to 12-12. The Crows are going to have to do something, well, the Bears are going to have to do something very special, whereas the Crows just have to control it. That's what they're doing at this very minute. From half back, Rashudo swings it in towards the centre and Liptak. Couldn't take it cleanly. Runs into Scott, who steals it. But look at McDermott ride him into the ground, and he's pinged him for holding the ball.
Yeah, so well done to Dion Scott. Has had a very good game today for the Bears. One of the bright lights today in what's going to be a very disappointing loss for Robert Walls, I'm sure. But you only get one opportunity to win games these days, and the Bears had that in the 3rd quarter and have let it pass.
McDermott to the half-forward line. Pushed towards the line by Hart. Liptak is on his hammer, and he's quite happy to roll it over the line in front of the big scoreboard here at the Gabba, which shows Adelaide in control, 15-14 to 12-12, as Fletcher waits on the sidelines to perhaps run out this game. Robin at the bottom of the pack gets the hand pass out, does well, slapping towards full forward, and Modra, after hearing that Gerard Healy said he's had an average day with only 5 goals and almost mark of the century, we'll go back and say this one's for you, Gerard. Tongue in cheek.
Very tongue in cheek.
Correct.
Have a look at him, just out in front. Good centering kick there. And Anthony Modra, I should say, should kick his 6th.
He does. Absolute bullseye.
This has been a disappointing last quarter for the Bears. They're in a position to win this game at 3-quarter time. Probably should have had it sewn up halfway through the 3rd quarter. If you don't nail home the coffin, the skeletons sometimes pop up and snuff you out in the last.
You've got to watch those skeletons. It's like a Sunday night movie. I quite understand.
So Modra has 6. Twice this season he's kicked in, as I mentioned. That was in round 1 against Richmond, and round 8 against North Melbourne. He fired up with double figures again. He'll fall short this afternoon, but some important goals late in this game as Scott gets a free. And interesting too, Matthew Robran. A couple of important touches for late goals, and that's heartening for the Crows as Pios kicks it out wide. Tregenza liked his game this afternoon, steady throughout. They'd won across the centre by and large, certainly on the wings. And it's been something of a revolving door in the middle for both teams as Tregenza's kick wobbles down to half forward. Ashcroft is in the road to Leslie. Leslie chips it out wide. McGuinness and Craven, it runs free behind. Taken by Murphy. No support. Hart's got him, holding the ball, the decision. So it's coming unglued now for the Bears, and this is a sad ending to this game simply because they did enough to finish close if in fact they were going to lose, but Adelaide simply too much poise. Important victory for them this afternoon. Hart down towards half forward. Back goes Chapman with courage, and that is a very good mark.
Yes, they say good sides win even when they're struggling, and that's what the Crows have done today. Certainly haven't been at their best, but are still going to manage to get the 4 points.
Chapman's kick is marked by Wren. The big man just slows everything down. Goes to Liptak on centre wing.
You must say, Sandy, the encouragement award would have to go to Brian Shee. Battled on manfully after a severe blow to the thigh midway through the 2nd.
There's Brian Sheehan. He's done very well. Robin has given away a free kick. Leslie. As Dennis said, it's becoming a little unstuck. Hodges now is going to have a shot. He kicked 2 early goals in the 1st quarter. And Scott Hodges now looking for number 4. Do you like the idea of Hodges and Modra being in that full forward and forward pocket region? Gerard, as he shoots in towards goal and pops it through.
Well, it's certainly been successful today, Sandy. No doubt about it. Although, I'm not sure whether it's going to be one that the Crows can win a premiership with. However, 10 goals between 2 forwards is certainly a fantastic haul. Both players producing at important times. Hodges particularly early in the piece, and Modra He's just continued to kick goals in each quarter.
Well, as you say, it's worked today as Robert Walls looks a little disconsolate now. But I don't think that situation up forward can work in the long term as Bickley comes away again. Modra on the lead.
Well, the Bears are letting themselves down now. They're just really not attacking the football at all, and the Crows are basically putting on a training performance here, straight out of the middle, no pressure whatsoever. And Bickley, who I think's had a tremendous input on this game, covered Buckley early in the piece. Buckley was shifted, then went to a wing and has continued to give drive and set Modra up for perhaps his 7th goal.
Good looking kick straight through the middle. Modra has 7 and the Crows are careering away.
Yes, well, what we thought was going to be a nail biter is now a convincing victory to the Crows, and they'll savour this one. And there's Bickley spearing the kick into Modra. Nobody dropping back into the space, nobody cutting across. The Bears have just let it all go to the pack at the moment. Well done the Crows though, taking advantage of it. And well done again to Modra. 7 goals.
Back in the middle once again. The Crows running this game out extremely well. Rowe has kicked some important goals. McDermott, look at that penetrating hand pass. Lip tack. The umpire's down again.
Umpire Viney this time.
Oh, they're going down left, right and centre. He is in trouble on the 50-metre line.
That one was Martin Leslie. One apiece to the teams here today.
Well, just as well, the siren's not too far away because he's had the wind blown out of his sails, I think.
All in the same area on the ground, too.
Perhaps that's the Bermuda Triangle.
I wouldn't go in there.
No.
Should give the whistle to one of the trainers.
I think he might have swallowed it. No.
It's a nasty one, right in the ribs. Well, after this game, if you go to the airport, you'll be able to pick the umpires. They'll be the ones who are limping.
Now we're back in business. Kennedy. To the outer side, it's a long kick. Comes out the back. Bickley will be first to it. Pulls it round his body. High back towards the 50-metre line. Rowe. Tregenza got a short little chip away. Who's got the pace? Liptak still going. Now he goes to ground. Voss does well. What's he got up towards centre wing? Clark and Craven, and it's Clark. Troy Clark can go into the centre. Buckley's there. Elects to go a little more directly. Fletcher now off to Buckley. 60 metres out. Nathan Buckley heads for home. It's a long kick and it bounces through for one behind. And the first time for a while that the Bears have posted a score.
It's dark here at the moment.
12-13 to 18-14.
Just going to say the Crows win even more meritorious when you consider their match winners, McGuinness, Jarman, McDermott, have really been quite well held today. Anderson has taken over that breach along with Bickley.
And that's a fine victory for the Adelaide Crows. The final scoreline showing Adelaide 18-14, 122. The Bears 12-13, 85. In fact, in the last quarter, the Bears could manage only 1 goal, whereas the Adelaide Crows kicked 8 straight. A fine performance. So they keep their finals hopes alive. Modra, as you can see in picture, well, he finished with 3 in the last quarter and 7 for the day. A good performance by him. Let's go down to the boundary line, and here's Max Stevens. Max?
Seems to be a problem down there with that microphone. But I think that Greg Anderson giving the indication he's very happy, and why not? We'll just see if we can get that interview up and running again. No, we can't. So we'll take a break with the Brisbane Bears going under to the Adelaide Crows to the tune of 37 points. Who would have predicted that at 3/4 time? It's been a storming finish by the victors.
The name of the game is Australia.
Big finish by the Adelaide Crows, running away with this game, as you can see, 122-85. Just checking the goal scorers. Tony Modra finished very hot indeed. 7 for the afternoon. Stephen Rowe got 3 vital goals after half-time. They were split by Scott Hodges with 4, 2 to Matthew Liptak, and his single to Mark Buckley. So 8 goals in the last quarter, as Sandy said, 8 straight, and they buried the Brisbane Bears. For Brisbane, Roger Merritt got 5. He missed 1 in the third term, and in many respects, that could have been a turning point without being harsh and putting it back at his door. 2 apiece to Fabian Francis and Dion Scott, and singles to Nathan Buckley, Michael Murphy, and Darryl White. So a disappointing performance by Brisbane, but you've got to say, Jared, a gutsy performance by Adelaide.
Yes, fantastic win by the Crows. They struggled all day. They didn't have great players today, but they still managed to get the 4 points, and they're the sort of wins that will take them on if they are to make the finals. A lot of people are beginning to wonder, perhaps even writing them off as far as September, but victories like today are what it will take to get there.
Well, if you've got a full forward like Tony Modra, it's doubtful you can ever be written off. I mean, he gives them a focal point, doesn't he? We touched on the Hodges-Modra marriage late in the game. I still have lingering doubts whether that can work. Okay, it came off today, but I think in the long term they're going to struggle with that format up forward. But Modra, just an excitement machine, and he continues to kick goals.
Yes, I think that's a very good point. I think the other thing that needs to be said is that Matthew Rodram is a player that still is playing nowhere near his best, although he is making a contribution in the last in the wins that the Adelaide Crows have had in the last 3 weeks. Obviously, they lost last week, but against the Kangaroos, and once again today, just a couple of vital touches at the football. And there's a player that can improve immeasurably, and if he can hold down centre-half forward, perhaps have the odd run on the ball and generate the importance that he showed against Collingwood when they played the Magpies at Victoria Park, well, perhaps this Crows side could emerge as the season develops and be that premiership threat that we perhaps thought they were at the start of the season.
3 key players involved in this movement down the wing. It was initially out of the back pocket, Bickley, Tregenza, and then finished by Rowe. Rowe's a player who can help them on the forward line. Another good goal coming up. 2 left-footers in the space of, well, I suppose 10 minutes in the context of the game, split by the three-quarter time break. But Stephen Rowe finished a couple of good movements there. I like Tregenza's game today.
Yes, I think Tregenza, an important player, must be minded and kept quiet. Fabian Francis here kicks one on Tregenza, but on the day I thought Tregenza did quite well. He started on Troy Clark and had the better of him. Troy Clark shifted away, and Bickley I thought was an important player. Kept Buckley to a fairly modest performance.
Anderson terrific, I thought.
Yes, Anderson would have to figure in the votes, you would suggest. But just getting back to Bickley, he was controlling the other wing. So after half-time, the Crows did have control in the centre of the ground across that midfield.
What does the future hold, do you think, for the Brisbane Bears as we take a look at the final quarter stats there?
Well, I think it's one of full excitement. You would think with the centre breaks there, Brisbane could well have perhaps signed that game up with the domination there, but wasted opportunities up forward. And if they can perhaps find themselves a Modra, we know that Roger Merritt is doing extremely well, but he's a short-term solution. But certainly their short-term is exciting, their long-term even better, and they'll be almost a final side with similar improvement next year.
Oh, so there's a big statement. What about McDermott and Jarman? You touched on that during the course of the game. Is time running out for that pair to play together? Or were you talking tongue-in-cheek as well?
No, I wasn't tongue-in-cheek on that one. I think if there are to be a premiership combination, then perhaps it's going to be difficult, particularly against a side like Collingwood, who've got so many quick, fast players, to have 2 players on the ground that have a limitation in pace. Carlton have that problem with Greg Williams. They find it difficult to have another on-baller of limited pace. Now, don't get me wrong, both Jarman and McDermott have chopped up Victoria on many occasions in the one side, so I have fond memories, well, not so fond.
There's a hidden agenda here, I think.
No, I would like to have got them back on the football field. Both fantastic players, but one would consider that maybe down the line their future as a couple is limited. Anthony Modra.
I've got him down for 7. They're showing 6 there. What did he finish up with?
I think it was 7 goals in the finish, and as we said, tongue-in-cheek in one of the breaks, Anthony Modra, a quiet performance on
more tongues and more cheeks this afternoon than we've seen for some time.
And Big Roger, well, Roger had a pretty good game, although...
Was I being harsh when I said going back to that one he missed? That could have been a crucial goal in the context of this game.
Yes, we did mention at the time that important for the Bears to get another couple of goals. You do only get one chance to win a game these days. The Bears had that in the third quarter, and they didn't take full advantage of it. Tony McGuinness statistically very good, keeps working, and even when he's not best on the ground, he always makes a contribution.
Even spread too, isn't it?
Always a great contribution. That's why he's one of the great players of the year.
Terrific.
And the competition.
Nathan Buckley, well, interesting game from him. He plays in spurts, it seems to me, Gerard.
Yes, I think that's a fair comment. I thought he was well beaten today. He popped up for a couple of goals, was instrumental in a lot of forward moves, but perhaps we just have greater expectations on a player that really has only been in the game for a short period of time. And here's probably the
man of the match.
Man of the match, Greg Anderson. Had a quiet patch in the second half of the second quarter when Danny Noonan went onto him, but his statistics show there that he worked well in every quarter and was as much as any other player instrumental in the Crows' win.
Time now to check the CUB AFL 1993 Premiership Season League ladder.
So what does it all mean? Well, Adelaide moved to 20 points now, as you can see, from their 9 games, knocking again at the door of the top 6. Brisbane, they needed that one today to advance very far up the ladder. As it is now, it seems it's going to be a long haul home for them. But the top 6 tonight, at the completion of round 10, is North Melbourne. Who would have thought that? Hawthorn, West Coast, Collingwood, Essendon and Fitzroy. Now, the next round, round 11, is only 13 days away, but in the interim, we've got a feast of football. Look what's coming up on Tuesday at the MCG, Victoria against New South Wales. South Australia go against WA. Looking forward to that on Wednesday. Saturday, of course, it's the final. And then on Sunday, Tasmania against Queensland at the Northern Territory. So here at the Gabba, the Adelaide Crows have won this one by 37 points.
It's the name of the game. It's the name of the game. The name of the game. The name of the game. The name of the game is Australia.
This has been a 7 Sport production.